Chapter 1329. No matter how hostile the dragon guards' gazes were, they did not say a word about the demons entering. It was already a fact that the visitors had the Emperor's orders. Any interference, be it good or bad, or even if it was out of their duty, could be misled by the visitors' words. If the demon emperor were to hear about it, it would only be their brother's fault. They could only remain silent and wait until they got past this hurdle. The future was long. It was never too late for a gentleman to take revenge. There would always be a time to settle scores in the future. Yun Yang, Mao Tunten, the three sisters, and the two elders of the Fox clan entered side by side, ignoring the dragon guard's indifference. It was then that the black dragon suddenly remembered that the Wang medallion he had just obtained had felt a pure emperor's aura, but he had not examined it in detail. After all, how many times had Wang medallion been sent down in all these years? Moreover, such a pure emperor's aura could not be fake. He picked up the Wang medallion and scanned it casually, snorting, "Go over quickly. Even with Wang medallion, it's only for a short while. You guys won't allow." Before he could finish his sentence, the black dragon's eyes widened, almost popping out of their sockets. The Fox Emperor's medallion? F***CK. How could this be the Fox Emperor's medallion? Although the Fox Emperor's medallion was also an Emperor's medallion, its meaning and value were different. One needed to be the current Demon Emperor's medallion to enter the Heaven Symbol prison. No, this was not right. The black dragon lifted his head abruptly, his eyes filled with suspicion. "You guys?" It was also at this moment that Yun Yang and the rest were almost standing close to the 12 dragon guards. The great elder of the Fox clan was the first to move, raising both his hands at lightning speed and slapping them on the heads of two dragon guards at the critical moment. Mao Tunten, Mao Chuedi, and the rest attacked separately. Yun Yang was not idle either, he was even more ruthless. His divine edge silently pierced through the back of a black guard, going in and out without any resistance. Bam, 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 in an instant, everything had happened so suddenly and so unexpectedly. 6 heads exploded one after another, and after the great elder and second elder of the Fox clan had succeeded in their attack, they pounced towards the other black-robed dragon guards who had yet to react in time with lightning speed. Tunten was not to be outdone. It followed closely behind and started a massacre. Midi-chan and Midi-chan did not continue to charge. Instead, they each took out a long sword that was as black as ink. They began to attack the heavily wounded dragon guards. Each of the 12 black-robed dragon guards here had the cultivation base of a saint. Although Tunten, the great elder of the Fox clan, and the other demons had a higher cultivation base and had the advantage of ambushing them, their heads were smashed and their bones were broken. However, for a Saint Lord cultivator, such injuries were not fatal. As long as they were given a certain amount of time, they would recover swiftly. In fact, when Tunten and the other 3 demons succeeded in their attack, they continued to attack, intending to increase their success. A dense demonic aura rose abruptly and enveloped the heavily injured black-robed dragon guards. These black-robed dragon guards were battle-hardened veterans, but they did not even curse when they were ambushed. How could they have the time to curse now that the situation was critical? Recover first. However, Cat's Full and Cat's Cheeky worked together to specifically target the injured dragon guards. The pitch-black sword in his hand instantly pierced through the bodies of the 6 heavily injured dragon guards over 1,000 times. Each time the black sword came into contact with the dragon's body, a large amount of demonic aura evaporated and rose rapidly. That's the demon sword of devouring soul. The leader of the black-robed dragon guards fought back with all his might, but the disparity in their combat strength was too great. One of his shoulders had already been smashed by the other party. Exclaiming in shock, he stared at Mao Chuedi and suddenly roared, "You're the 9 Lives Cat Clan's Heaven Lady of the demonic cat race, the Lady Cactus Devourer." The Lady Cactus Devourer was the 9 Lives Cat ancestors' concubine, but she was also the Cat Clan's god of war. She had been quiet for many years, but her reputation had long been deeply rooted in the hearts of the older generation of high-level cultivators. How could they not be shocked and fearful when she suddenly appeared? Mao Chuedi and Midi-chan moved in unison, 1,000 swords lashing out, further weakening the 6 heavily injured black dragon guards in an instant. They did not continue their attack, but flew up and followed their sister's footsteps, joining the assault on the other side. Although Mao Chuedi and Midi-chan had retreated, the 6 black dragon guards who were on the brink of death did not have the chance to catch their breath because Yun Yang was still there. The divine edge turned into a bolt of lightning and hurtled towards the 6 weakened dragon guards. The door of life and death opened, the 18 levels of hell. Infused with the power of hell, the divine edge had already slashed 3,000 times in the blink of an eye. The body of the black-robed dragon guard was already on the brink of collapse. Now that he had to endure the consecutive slashes of the divine edge, he could no longer hold on. He barely managed to hold on for a moment before turning into countless pieces. The remaining soul energy of the dragon guards was just about to leave their bodies, intending to escape. Suddenly, a green light flashed and vines with dark green lotus leaves appeared in the prison. The vines were covered with furry thorns. In a flash, the vines circled around the 6 soul energies. Then, the furry thorns on the vines pierced into the soul bodies of the dragon guards. The souls of the 6 dragon guards let out tragic cries at the same time. "What is this? This?" Their voices were filled with despair and fear. The Saint Monarch soul body, which was known as undying and indestructible, actually didn't have the slightest ability to retaliate when faced with these vines. The moment he was bound, he fell into a completely disadvantageous position. His soul essence was constantly being drawn out and turned into nourishment for the vines. The situation of the strong and the weak was rapidly deteriorating. After a while, the vines flashed again and disappeared. On the ground, there were loud bangs as 6 black dragon carcasses that were riddled with holes appeared. Just as the gigantic dragon carcasses appeared and were about to fill the space, Yun Yang's eyes flashed and he kept the 6 black dragon carcasses at once. These were black dragons of the Saint Lord level. Even though the essence of their souls had been devoured by the emerald whale, the rest of their bodies were still treasures. Not to mention the flesh and bones, even the blood that was still flowing out was a superb spiritual material. It was best not to waste them. What was more, there were still the dragon cores, internal cores and dragon balls that had not been extracted from the carcasses. As Cats Fill and Cats Eat joined in the battle, the tide of battle between the two sides increased rapidly. 4 of the remaining 6 dragon guards followed the former's footsteps and were beaten into soul form. It was not without reason that the battle was so one-sided. The main reason was that the ambush this time was too vicious, too sudden, and too unexpected. They were already so close to the dragon guards and yet they did not notice it. How could it be any good? Secondly, Cat Tunton and the 2 Fox Elders' Real cultivation base was higher than the 12 dragon guards. Moreover, they were unprepared. It would be strange if they did not succeed. Half of the 12 dragon guards had been eliminated right from the start, which meant that the black dragon guards' joint attack formation could no longer be put to use. Thirdly, Yun Yang and his team had already planned for this trip. Although Cat Tunton and the 2 Fox Elders' ambush were the main attackers, the real killing blow was still Cats Fill and Cats Eat. The 12 dragon guards were all Saint Lord cultivators after all. It was not difficult to injure or defeat them, but it was not an easy task to kill them. Cats Fill and Cats Eat used the soul-devouring fiend sword as the medium of attack and joined forces to attack. In the blink of an eye, the severely injured dragon guards were weakened to their weakest state. Then Yun Yang unleashed his ultimate killing blow. In less than a dozen breaths, the 6 Saint Lords were all annihilated, their bodies and souls destroyed. Even the other half of the dragon guards who had survived were not in a good state. All of them were injured and had been suppressed throughout the whole process, not even having the chance to sound the alarm. The black dragon leader took the brunt of Cat Tunton's direct attack. His body was in a state where his golden bones were scattered everywhere. He cried out in grief and indignation, "Shameless! Shameless! Shameless!" Cat Tunton had not spoken a word since the beginning, but his attacks were relentless, suppressing the black dragon leader and another dragon guard with a higher cultivation base. As Cats Fill and Cats Eat joined the battle, they worked with the 2 Fox Elders to swiftly slay the 4 dragon guards into a state of remnant souls. Then it was left to Yun Yang to clean up the mess. Once again he wrapped the vines around them and took them away. What happened after that was even simpler and more brutal. There were 5 Saint Lords on their side against 2 heavily injured dragon guards. There was no suspense in the outcome, it was a direct massacre. Boom, boom, boom. In the end, there was not even a chance for the 2 dragon guards to self-destruct. Yun Yang collected the souls and corpses of the 2 dragon guards. The entire process took no more than 100 breaths time. Yes, only 100 breaths time. None of the 12 black dragon guards were weaklings. Each of them possessed the ability to easily kill Yun Yang. However, in this sudden lightning-fast ambush they were all wiped out. The battle was over and the outcome was set. Cat Tunton, who was the main force in this battle, could not help but spit out a mouthful of golden blood. The 2 Fox Elders' eyes were filled with relief as well. They had been too lucky in this battle. Everything that had happened so far was basically within everyone's expectations. In the entire plan, The least confident and most likely to cause an accident was the Saint Lord's spiritual force that was hard to deal with after its body was destroyed. According to the known methods of the demon race, a Saint Lord's spiritual force of such a level needed to be suppressed by a sovereign's chi of emperor before it could be destroyed in one fell swoop. Only then could it be truly killed. Obviously, the demons present did not have such an ability. And this kind of powerful soul that had already reached the level of Saint Monarch, even if its physical body was destroyed, as long as it could escape and find another body to possess, it would be able to become extremely powerful in an extremely short period of time. And the fundamental reason why Saint Monarchs were known as undying and indestructible was because of this. The feline clan had been planning for the feline emperor for countless years, and it was not without a strategy. It was the soul-devouring sword. The soul-devouring sword was an extremely unique and peculiar weapon. It did not target the target's physical body but the soul. Strong cultivators below the level of a Saint Lord would die if they were grazed or touched. Their souls would be destroyed and they would be deader than dead. However, even with such a powerful soul-devouring demon sword, the damage it could inflict on a Saint Monarch was relatively limited. Of course, this wasn't because the soul-devouring demon sword wasn't strong, but because the Saint Monarch's origin soul was too strong. It exceeded the soul-devouring demon sword's range of power. In this battle, if the soul-devouring sword had not continuously weakened the Black Dragon Guard's soul, Emmy might not have been able to succeed so smoothly. According to Tuntun's plan, the most successful scenario would be a series of successful ambushes, destroying the 12 Dragon Guard's physical bodies and even saving the feline ancestor. Tuntun and the rest would leave with the feline ancestor, but the cat with the soul-devouring sword could not leave. She had to stay here and continue weakening the soul with the soul-devouring sword. In the end, because the Dragon Guard soul could not be truly destroyed, the cat that was left behind would not be able to survive. However, Yunyang had proposed two revised plans. First, he would forge an additional sword to be safe in the situation where one soul-devouring sword might not be able to handle the situation. Second, he would deal with the soul force that had been weakened to the extreme when both swords attacked at the same time. If Yunyang's forging of another fiendish soul devourer the next day was already shocking to the eyes of the demons, now Yunyang had actually completed this impossible task so perfectly. Not only the soul force, but even the corpses had been dealt with cleanly. While the demons were in awe, they could not help but feel horrified. Yunyang's current cultivation base was only at the level of a supreme saint, but he already had such a skill. If he were to reach the level of a saint, would he not be invincible among his peers and could overturn a saint with a flip of his hand? However, there was no time to conclude, no time to exclaim or think about it. There were still many important matters to attend to. Charge in. Tuntun took the lead and floated in. At this moment in the Sky Prison, in every cell, there was a prisoner quietly watching the shocking change at the door. There was isolation between these cells, which meant that even the prisoners did not know who was the prisoner opposite or next to them. Tuntun and the rest of the demons dashed in and were immediately dumbfounded. The interior of the Heaven Prison was an area they had never ventured into before. They had no idea which cell was holding the feline ancestor. Each of these cells was equipped with a breath isolation function. It was useless to ask or sense with one's deific consciousness. Yunyang was decisive and hollered, "Release them all." Before his words echoed in the air, the divine edge was already glowing brightly as it slashed at the nearest cell door. In Yunyang's opinion, his cultivation base was only at the level of a supreme saint, but with the aid of the divine edge, the destructive power of an all-out strike might not be weaker than a saint's. There was no reason that the cell door could not be breached. However, a ball of light appeared and collided with the saber light. It only shook a little and did not split open. A wave of deific consciousness emanated from it. *T, this must be an external force attacking the cell's restriction, triggering the cell's defensive instinct and sending a signal outwards. Yunyang's mind raced as he tossed his divine edge to the Great Elder of the Fox clan. "Great Elder, you do it." The Great Elder caught the saber without hesitation and focused all of his demonic energy into the divine edge before swinging it down. The protective light of the cell reappeared, but it was a pity that it could not withstand the Great Elder's attack and dispersed with a loud bang. The Great Elder didn't stop after his successful strike. Instead, he flew forward and slashed left and right. Wherever he passed, regardless of whether it was an empty cell or a cell with a wanted criminal inside, he cleaved them all in half without exception. How could a saint's movement be so swift? It was only a blink of an eye, but he had already gone through the entire cell. Tuntun and the rest cried out in surprise, "Found His Majesty, seventh brother is here too." Fifth brother is here. Ninth brother. Yun Yang followed behind Tunten and the other two ladies, stuffing a medicinal pill filled with vitality and a pill to replenish spiritual qi into every cell along the way, no matter how many prisoners they passed by. Is there anyone with a seal on them? Yun Yang asked aloud. Now that the prison's protective seal had been triggered, the outside world would definitely react within a short period of time. Other than leaving as soon as possible, their top priority now was to strengthen their combat power. These two tasks had the same nemesis. The prisoners could not have any seals on them. At this moment, all the demons that were imprisoned in the Heaven's Word prison stood at the entrance. Although all of them had been imprisoned for many years, none of them looked too disheveled. Instead, all of them looked indifferent. However, there was a tinge of excitement in their eyes, as well as the feeling of being able to see the light of day again. In the deepest part of the cell, a reluctant voice said, "I'm sleeping soundly." Cat eat cats Phil and the two girls were speechless. All right, you're sleeping soundly. We're really sorry to disturb your sleep, it's our fault. Why don't you continue sleeping and we'll escape? Everyone, the price of seeing the light of day again is an eternal escape. The demon race is the enemy of the world. I, the 9 Lives Cat ancestor, may not be talented, but I do have some foundation. I've been with all of you here for many years. I only ask all of you, I want to overturn the world. Are all of you willing to help me? The 9 Lives Cat ancestor's image was very different from what Yun Yang had imagined. He was not handsome, strong, or capable, but he looked like a chubby middle-aged man. He was not very tall, but he looked rather reliable. It was a reassuring feeling that came from the bottom of Yun Yang's heart. As the emperor of a race, he quickly understood the current situation and threw out such a statement. Yun Yang had to admit that none of the sovereigns were to be trifled with. Whether it was the Fox Emperor whom he had met a few times, the Phoenix Emperor whom he had yet to meet, or the Cat Emperor whom he had just met, they were all the same. All the experts who had just escaped from the prison lifted their heads to stare at the 9 Lives Cat ancestor when they heard the words. Why was he not in a hurry to leave when he was finally free? Was he not waiting for this? What was the use of going out alone? He was afraid that it wouldn't be long before he was captured again. The cultivation base of a Saint Lord was impressive and was already at the pinnacle of this world, but it was difficult for a single demon to make a difference. However, if there was a strong character to lead the way and everyone joined forces, the situation would be completely different. Alright, I'll change it right away, alright? I won't buy the all-in-one computer anymore, alright? Chapter 1330. The 9 Lives Cat Emperor's gaze swept over them as he spoke slowly. Everyone is here to stay together, to seek a chance of survival in this realm where enemies are everywhere. I'm not in the mood to say any more beautiful words, so I'll just say one last thing. I trust all of you and I believe all of you feel the same way towards me. However, nothing can be accomplished without rules. If we want to stay together, we must have a set of rules and follow orders. I believe I don't need to tell you this. Everyone understands the importance of this. All the experts remained silent and nodded slowly. This was a very natural logic. You are a fugitive, the entire demon race is obligated to capture you. The saying of being surrounded by enemies everywhere was not wrong at all. If one were to be stubborn and act willfully at such a time, not only would they be harming themselves, they would also be harming the 9 Lives Cat Emperor and the other demons who were with them. From now on, I, the 9 Lives Cat Emperor, will be your leader. I can't guarantee anything else, but I, the 9 Lives Cat Emperor, believe that I, the 9 Lives Cat Emperor, can still do it. The 9 Lives Cat ancestor waved his hand generously. This is the established policy. Let's not talk about anything else here. Let's get out first. He laughed and said, let's charge out alive first. Those who survive, let's report our names and help each other. As soon as he finished, he took the lead and dashed out. Tunten and the other 6 holy lords of the Cat clan who had just been rescued followed without hesitation. After that, the remaining 10 Saint Monarchs all silently followed behind. They didn't say anything, but their footsteps were extremely firm. Their determination showed that they had accepted the 9 Lives Cat ancestor's words and were already obeying his orders. Yun Yang was stunned by the scene. Was it so easy for the demon race to subdue their subordinates? If it had been humans, even if they did not rope them in one by one and give them many promises, they would at least say a lot of nice words. In the end, it was inevitable that there would be those who were rebellious and preferred to work alone, begging to go. Here they would simply say, follow me, I call the shots, all of you have to listen to me. They did not even ask for their names. Well, it was not that they did not ask for their names. They would only ask for their names if they survived because names were meaningless to those who did not survive. But just like that, unexpectedly, they all obeyed. Yun Yang's eyeballs almost popped out of their sockets. Yun Yang had also analyzed that the main reason for such a situation was that the cat ancestor was the leader. An emperor who could destroy the demon crown prince's residence for the sake of his innocent brother's death. An emperor who killed the dragon crown prince to avenge his brother's family. Although the demon emperor's clan did their best to suppress and cover up the news, all the demons present were saint monarchs. What news could be hidden from them? Although such a monarch had an impulsive personality when it came to demons, who in the entire demon race wouldn't want to have such a brother? Who wouldn't want such a boss? Now that the Nine Lives cat ancestor had emerged from the mountain and reappeared in the world, even rescuing everyone from the demon soul prison and allowing them to see the light of day again, who else could they follow if they did not follow such a boss? Moreover, if the cat ancestor succeeded in his restoration, then they would be the heroes of the country's re-establishment. If he died, then so be it. In the monster soul prison, even though he was still alive, he would rather be dead. If he could survive, then he would definitely be one of the top figures of the monster race. This deal, anyone would calculate it. Then, following the cat ancestor, he had to do it no matter what. Yun Yang was still in the form of a demon fox. Together with the great elder and second elder of the fox clan, the three demon foxes that looked exactly the same tailed the feline demons like triplets as they left together. In the blink of an eye, they had arrived at the dungeon. They were about to charge out. However, Yun Yang was not satisfied. This operation was too smooth, he could not achieve his goal at all. Saving the cat emperor and adding another opponent for the demon emperor was not bad, but Yun Yang felt that he should gain more through this operation. The fox emperor had mentioned previously that the cat emperor had many loyal brothers. They were all rulers of various races. No, it would be a waste to charge out like this. Yun Yang stopped abruptly and said, "I almost forgot that I still have a few disciples imprisoned here." As he spoke, he went inside. White Bear and the other 7 brothers who were imprisoned in this area were in the same cell. It was probably because their cultivation base was too low that they were not subjected to more cultivation-based restraints. Even so, they all looked dispirited and listless. Even their gazes were filled with fear and anxiety, not knowing what to do. Suddenly, loud rumbling noises could be heard as if there were great demons engaged in a fierce battle. The 7 brothers who were initially dispirited were invigorated. They lifted their heads and exchanged a few glances. Crane Jiuqian and the rest of the Crane clan, as well as their friends and relatives who were prepared to serve the Fox Crown Prince, had already been executed. Even the old tree had committed suicide. Only White Bear and the others were still imprisoned here. They were waiting for a hopeless future. The sudden sounds of battle only lasted for a very short moment, less than 100 breaths' time. Then it disappeared and returned to silence. White Bear frowned, almost suspecting if he had heard wrongly. With their cultivation base, it was rare for them to hear any commotion in the demonic soul prison where the soul energy was completely sealed. After about the time it took to brew a cup of tea, an illusory shadow dashed over. The eyes of White Bear and the other 6 brothers lit up at once when they saw the familiar figure. Was this not their master? Yun Yang sprinted over and slashed the earth prison cell open with the divine edge. "Come out quick," he hollered. With his cultivation base, it was difficult to open the heaven prison, but it was a piece of cake for him to open the earth prison. The prison door swung open. The exit was opened, but White Bear and the others did not come out immediately. Instead, they stared at the demon fox that Yun Yang had transformed into with a strange gaze. Yun Yang's heart skipped a beat as he asked in a low voice, "White Bear, why aren't you guys out yet?" White Bear's expression was filled with agony, his gaze complicated. Suddenly he asked in a low voice, "Master, you're human?" Yun Yang was wise enough to know where the problem was at once. He sighed and said, "Aren't you guys coming out?" White Bear closed his eyes, his lips trembling. Suddenly he flipped over and lay down. The 7 brothers kowtowed at the same time, sobbing, "Master, I'm sorry." Yun Yang immediately felt that things were not looking good. He could no longer care about White Bear and the others. Turning into a gust of wind, he dashed out at his highest speed. White Bear and the others finished kowtowing 3 times obediently and grinned, looking like they were crying and laughing at the same time. Looking at the empty tunnel, tears streamed down their cheeks. "Master, I can only buy you a breath's time. When the entire demon race looks down on us, you, a human, have given us warmth. We know you have a motive, but we're still grateful for your appearance. You make us feel that it's good to be alive, it's good to hope, it's good to have a master. But master, you're a human after all and we're demons." White Bear's heart-wrenching voice came from the depths of the dungeon. Yun Yang pressed his lips together, not saying a word. He focused his mind and flew away quickly. He clearly understood that there was a huge change in the situation with White Bear. He had come to resolve the karma by not having an inner demon in his heart, but he had neglected. How would White Bear and the others react when he knew the truth as a demon? Although he could also achieve his other goal from here, why did he feel a sense of melancholy? There was relief, melancholy, and understanding. That was it. Yun Yang heaved a long sigh in his heart. White Bear, who was in the depths of the dungeon, roared, "Master, if we meet again, let us be enemies to the death." The 7 brothers knelt on the ground, sobbing for a long time. The momentary warmth, the warmth that they thought would last forever, was but a fleeting bubble. They did not truly possess it. We're just 7 insignificant ant-like little demons in this world of demons. Then a burst of mental energy exploded. Seemed to be a signal. Demonic soul prison. In a secret chamber, the Phoenix Sovereign opened his eyes abruptly and yelled urgently, "Pass the order! Seal the demonic soul prison." The 99 Saint Lords who had been waiting for a long time rose into the sky together. Working together, they tore through the void and arrived directly above the demonic soul prison, spreading their arms in unison. An inexplicable force enveloped the entire demonic soul prison. The area 3,000 miles around the prison was completely sealed by this tremendous force. In an instant, the heaven and earth were sealed, the gods and demons were silenced, and even the flow of spiritual chi stopped. During this period of time, all living beings in or around the demonic soul prison could no longer transform at will, even though their combat strength was unharmed. The demons could only look like what they were here. Those who had transformed into human form could not change back to their original form for the next 3,000 years. Those who had manifested their primordial form would not have the ability to transform for the next 3,000 years. What's more, the spiritual power of all living beings within the coverage of the heaven sealing array will be sealed as well. You can only use so much power now, and it will be hard to replenish it after it's used up. It will be useless whether you circulate your body or simply rest. Unless one could break through the demonic soul prison set up by the 99 Saint Lords. Or perhaps, one's cultivation base could break through to the level of a saint. Otherwise, there was no possibility of a fluke. This was the terror of the demonic soul prison. For the next 3,000 years, not even starlight would be able to shine in this area with the demonic soul prison as the center. The Phoenix Sovereign had been plotting to set up this formation. He had told all the demon higher-ups that he wanted to set up the formation in Demon Imperial City, but in fact, his true intention had never been exposed. Even the Saint Lords who had participated in the demonic soul prison were not allowed to leave after being confirmed as part of the formation. They had been waiting for the order to activate the formation. After that, he had personally visited the demonic soul prison as a sovereign to communicate with White Bear and the other 7 bears, making a promise. "You're demons. Yun Yang is human." This point of view was imparted to them by the Phoenix Empress in the form of enlightenment. Their positions were different. No matter how deep the teacher's kindness was and how much hope was placed on them, they had to change course and abandon their original intentions. At this moment, the Phoenix Sovereign's goal had been achieved. The demonic soul prison had been activated, and Yun Yang was now within the range of the formation's power. The Phoenix Sovereign floated up and flew out leisurely, his eyes brimming with murderous intent that was not concealed at all. "Yun Yang, you're finally going to die here today." Ever since she discovered this human, the Phoenix Emperor had a stubborn conviction in her heart. This human was definitely her greatest enemy in life. Perhaps, the fate of the entire demon race would fall upon this person. This human would be the most dangerous terrorist of the human race in 1,000,000 years. He had to be eliminated. He had to die. Although setting up the demonic soul prison required a lot of resources, the Phoenix Sovereign thought that it was absolutely necessary. He could even pour in a third or even half of the demon race's power for this inexplicable feeling he had. Now that the bear demon had sent a message and 99 Saint Lords had joined hands to control the situation, it should already be foolproof. However, the Phoenix Sovereign's thoughts raced. He felt that if he did not see this human called Yun Yang die with his own eyes, his soul and soul destroyed, never to be reincarnated, he would never be able to rest in peace. This feeling was inexplicable and urgent. Therefore, the Phoenix Sovereign tore the space apart and appeared outside the demonic soul prison with a single step. The Phoenix Emperor personally came to the demon soul prison, but as soon as he looked around he was shocked. That was because he saw. The person charging out of the prison was the 9 Lives Cat Emperor. Yun Yang and the rest rushed out like they were flying. The guards and experts in the demonic soul prison had either been wiped out or were still in a drunken stupor. Therefore when they charged out there was no resistance at all. It was only when they were about to reach the gate that the demonic soul prison's garrison finally reacted. The garrison troops came in large numbers, lined up in a neat formation and pressed forward. A formation of 200,000 soldiers charged forward with no fear of death or injury. Seeing that the path ahead was blocked, the Nine Lives Cat ancestor did not hesitate. With a cross of his palms, he led the charge. Wherever he passed, the royal guards were like a giant ship that had suddenly sailed past the ocean. They parted left and right like waves, leaving no room for resistance. Those who bore the brunt of the attack were corpses that littered the ground. With a quick glance, there were at least 1,000 corpses. This was only the momentum of the Nine Lives Cat ancestors' charge, the power of a single palm strike. As Tunton and more than 20 Saint Monarch experts rushed out, the mountainous army on the other side had no way to resist, and almost immediately showed signs of being routed. Although the royal guards were numerous and orderly, their commander's cultivation base was only at the pinnacle of a 4th-level supreme saint. There was not a single Saint Lord among them. Now that he was facing the combined attack of over 20 high-grade Saint Monarchs, how could he resist? He would only end up being crushed like dried weeds. Furthermore, these fellows were vicious people who had just escaped from the heaven prison. Each of them had suppressed their frustrations for at least a few thousand years. Now that they had a way to vent, how could they resist? In just a moment, the iron wall of defense built by the 200,000 royal guards was completely destroyed. Yun Yang and the rest rushed out of the demonic soul prison. Go that way. Cat ancestor frowned. Just as he said this, a world-shaking tyrannical pressure suddenly descended from the sky. That was a shackle aura that even the heavens wanted to be sealed. The cat ancestor was shocked. A Saint Lord from the Snake clan shrieked, "It's the sky-sealing formation." Before his words echoed in the air, a massive canopy fell from the sky. As far as the eye could see, countless specks of starlight formed an inescapable net that covered 3,000 miles of the demonic soul prison. In the blink of an eye, a layer of thin film that seemed to be solid materialized before everyone's eyes. After about a breath's time, the thin film disappeared abruptly. All the Saint Lords present could clearly feel that although they could still breathe, still circulate their cultivation method, and even fight, they could no longer feel the spiritual chi of heaven and earth. This meant that apart from their current essential chi and energy, they were powerless. Even if a Saint Lord's cultivation base was profound and their energy was abundant, without external spiritual chi to replenish them, there would inevitably come a time when they would be exhausted. This sky-sealing formation was a talisman that forced the demons into a dead end. All the Saint Lords had the same thought at the same time. This was the Demon Emperor's plan. It looked like we had a chance to escape, but in reality the Demon Emperor's plan was even deeper. He had set up the sky-sealing formation to kill us all and eliminate the threat. The Saint Lords could not be blamed for having such a thought. Even if the Phoenix Sovereign had said directly that this sky-sealing formation was not set up for them and was only used to deal with a second-grade Saint Venerable Human Jr., the Saint Lords would never have believed it. Was there a need to use the sky-sealing formation to deal with a high-level Saint Lord? The demons shared the same thought. Seeing that the sky-sealing formation had been completed, the Saint Lords were filled with rage and grief. His Majesty the Demon Emperor. What a vicious method. This is too vicious. The sky-sealing formation that hasn't been used for so many years is actually being used on us. This is obviously trying to kill us. The Demon Emperor is truly perverse and heartless. The Saint Lords who participated in the sky-sealing formation will lose at least 30% of their cultivation, as well as the combat power that will be sent to deal with us later. Today's battle will be a bloodbath for the Saint Lords of the demon race. Has the Demon Emperor gone mad? He's truly deranged and reckless. The group of Saint Monarchs were all on the verge of losing control. After being imprisoned for countless years, they finally managed to get out today, only to discover that they were sealed by the heaven-sealing array. The so-called chance to escape was very likely a trap set up by the Demon Sovereign to completely annihilate them. Their mood was as depressed as if they had been f***ed by a dog. Yun Yang shrunk his neck and transformed into the form of a demon fox, following the group without saying a word. I can't speak at this time. Although this happened because of me, I can't say anything. I'll definitely be beaten to death if I do. However, even if I say it, will any demon believe me? They've made such a huge fuss just for a mere second-grade Saint Venerable like me. They're overestimating me. Yun Yang suddenly recalled something. When the great elder of the Fox clan came, he had told him that the three of them had to transform into the same form. This must be the preparation that the Fox Emperor had made beforehand for the sky-sealing formation. Now that he was sealed into the form of a demon fox, it was a blessing in disguise. At least in terms of safety, he could pass himself off as the real deal. However, what puzzled Yunyang was that if the Fox Emperor had long known about the sky-sealing formation, why did he not tell him about it? The Nine Lives Cat ancestor, who was at the forefront of the group, suddenly sneered and said, "So what if it's the sky-sealing formation? Do you really think you can block my way?" He suddenly strode forward in large strides. He was right. The sky-sealing formation had the ability to seal heaven and earth and immobilize one's form, but what kind of demon was the Nine Lives Cat ancestor? He was a formidable demon that could stand shoulder to shoulder with the demon emperor. What kind of price would he have to pay to exhaust the cat ancestor's spiritual energy? Facing the army of thousands, the Nine Lives Cat ancestor took a step forward and the hundreds of thousands of soldiers on the opposite side took a step back in unison. Who dares stop me? The cat ancestor guffawed, his aura overpowering the mountains and rivers. He strode forward again and said loudly, "Your father is the Nine Lives Cat Emperor. Your father has reappeared in this world today. I've come to the demonic realm once more to collect my debt. Those who once owed the Nine Lives Cat clan, just you wait." Suddenly, a deafening roar thundered, "Long Yu Qian. Just you wait, you old man. Your father could kill one of your sons back then, and I can still end your line of descendants today." The roar was thunderous, traveling thousands of miles away. It was at this moment. The space in front of the Nine Lives Cat ancestor tore apart like a rag. A graceful silhouette wearing a crown and an emperor's robe stepped out. The newcomer's gaze was complicated as he stared at the Nine Lives Cat ancestor, who was brimming with rage, and he heaved a long sigh. "Cat, why did you do this?" The newcomer was the Phoenix Emperor, and this was the first time Yunyang had seen the legendary Phoenix Emperor in person. The moment he saw the Phoenix Emperor, Yunyang's brain almost stopped working as his thoughts froze. "Mr. Nian. The Four Seasons Towers, Mr. Nian." Yunyang could only feel his mind rumbling. Why was Mr. Nian here? Wasn't he dead? Today's 3-in-1 battle was unfolding. Chapter 1331. Yunyang's heart was pounding with fear. Instinctively he felt an extreme sense of danger. Mr. Nian, a demon emperor? Not only was this frightening, it was also absurd. However, the Phoenix Emperor did not know that the weakest demon fox was Yunyang's disguise. Even if Yunyang were to manifest his human form now, he would not be able to recognize him. Right now, all of his attention was focused on Cat Ancestor. "Cat, why do you have to do this?" The Cat Ancestor stopped in his tracks, his sharp eyes looking at the Phoenix Emperor as he said softly, "Brother Phoenix, the Nine Lives Cat race has 2 billion subjects. How many of them are left in this world now?" When the question was asked, his voice was soft and his tone was indifferent, but the meaning behind his words was earth-shattering and went straight to the heart of the matter. 2 billion subjects. With the cat race's terrifying reproductive ability as well as their past influence and power, this number was definitely not an exaggeration. However, that was in the past. Now, there was not a single cat in the entire demonic realm. Although the Phoenix Emperor was eloquent, she was at a loss for words when she heard this and was speechless for a while. After a long time he said, "Brother Cat, you have to look forward in everything." The Cat Emperor sucked in a deep breath and said, "That means, there's basically no more?" He pointed at the demons of the cat race behind him and said faintly, "Only these are left?" The Phoenix Emperor sighed at the sky. The Cat Emperor asked coldly, "Then, where have my 2 billion subjects gone to?" The Phoenix Emperor lowered his head bitterly. The Cat Emperor looked at the Phoenix Emperor's expression and took in a long, long breath. However, it was this breath that almost sucked the entire battlefield into a vacuum. Then, the Cat Emperor asked word by word in an extremely heavy tone, "Brother Phoenix, you know everything about that matter from start to finish back then, right?" The Phoenix Emperor heaved a long sigh, still speechless. Previously he had nothing to say, but now he had nothing to say. "I, the Nine Lives Cat, have never thought of betraying the demonic race, nor do I have the intention to be independent. I've always been everyone's good brother, and I think, among all of us, I'm the one with the best demonic affinity. It's not just my clan that has good affinity with demons. Most of the emperors of the various clans are my good brothers." The Nine Lives Cat Emperor smiled bitterly. "Back then Mao Bai was a brother who grew up with me since I was young. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that we were childhood friends. He accompanied me as I roamed the world and I became the emperor. To me he was my first brother and no demon could compare to him. At the same time, he is also the #1 think tank of our cat clan, an indispensable and important figure of the cat clan. His importance to the cat clan may not be lower than mine. He's indifferent by nature and doesn't want anything. He doesn't want a high position or wealth. He just wants to stay by my side and help me with all his heart. It could be said that he charged into the front lines and schemed for the sake of me. If I didn't have ambition, he wouldn't have come out of seclusion. And when I ascended to the position of the Cat Emperor, Bai Yi chose to leave without saying goodbye, saying that he was going to carefree heaven. But I know that he didn't want his brothers to be divided. The Cat clan only needs a supreme emperor. Even if I didn't mind, he wouldn't overstep his boundaries, but he still chose to leave and avoid the court. Brother Feng, speaking of which, Bai Yi helped you quite a lot back then, right? Although everyone acknowledged that you are the wisest of the demon clan, and that nine-tailed fellow is behind you, the third should be Mao Bai, right? That case back then, it all started because of a very ordinary encounter. The second prince was tempted by his beauty and used force against Bai Yi. With Bai Yi's cultivation, how could the second prince succeed? It was because Bai Yi knew that the other party was the crown prince of the dragon clan. Once they fought, it would definitely lead to a clash between the dragon clan and the cat clan. So, after he sent his family away, he revealed his identity and chose to be captured. What kind of status does Mao Bai have? Even if we talk about it now, even if the one who had a conflict with him was His Majesty the Demon Emperor, he would still have to give him some face, right? With Bai Yi's illustrious reputation and illustrious achievements, this isn't too much, right? At this point, all the sovereigns of the various clans sighed and nodded. The Cat Emperor was right. Back then, the crown prince of the dragon clan was indeed too domineering. But Bai Yi's submission and his mercy didn't gain the other party's goodwill. After that, the second prince clearly knew his identity, but he still stubbornly went his own way. He forcibly took his wife and 2 of his concubines. Even Bai Yi's daughter. In the end, the white-clothed man was tortured to death. In the end, none of Bai Yi's family members were spared. Just because they showed hatred, they were eliminated by the second prince and all of them were killed. There was deep sorrow in the Cat Emperor's voice. Back then, countless demons said that I, the 9 Lives Cat, was too impulsive and impulsive. But I want to ask Brother Feng, back then if you were me, what would you do? What would you do? I only have one question. Should this revenge be taken? The Phoenix Emperor was still speechless. He didn't even sigh. Impulsive? Not impulsive at all. The Phoenix Emperor had thought about this countless times. If he was the 9 Lives Cat back then the Demon Emperor's second crown prince wouldn't have been able to escape death. However, he would have been more discreet in dealing with him. Perhaps he wouldn't have completely fallen out with the Demon Emperor. This was probably the thinking of a wise person. They would have considerable concerns. He was like that, and so was Bai Yi back then. Bai Yi's concerns and his consideration of the big picture led to his own tragic end. It even planted the seeds of the current situation of the Cat clan. But could this be blamed on Bai Yi's inaction? Or could it be blamed on the Cat Emperor's stubbornness? Sometimes, taking the big picture into consideration was a kind of weakness. Yes, I made a move. I killed the second crown prince and all the demons related to the second crown prince. All the guards, including those high-level demon cultivators who had attacked Bai Yi, were all killed by me. They all deserve to die. They must die. When Bai Yi sacrificed for the demon clan, what were they doing? Why did they risk their lives to kill Bai Yi? Just because he was the demon emperor's crown prince and had great power, they could do whatever they wanted without scruples. The Cat Emperor revealed a hint of mockery at the corner of his mouth. What I did was what my heart wanted. Brother Feng, I can tell you this with absolute certainty. I've been in prison for so many years and I've thought about what happened back then thousands of times. Was my choice wrong? Was I really impulsive? Did I end up in such a miserable state? But my answer was the same every time. Even if I had to do it all over again, I still wouldn't compromise. I would still do it. Without hesitation, I would die 9 times without regrets. The only thing I regret is that I was too eager to take revenge and let that bastard die too quickly. I still regret that I didn't eliminate a large portion of the family members of those bastards who followed the second crown prince back then. The Cat Emperor laughed sorrowfully. After this, everyone in the world knew that the Demon Emperor suppressed me. But Brother Phoenix, did you not know? I didn't resist at all. Bai Yi was my brother. It was fair and just for me to take revenge for my brother. Long Yuqian was also my brother, my big brother. I killed my big brother's son, so I had to give him an explanation. So I didn't resist and let Long Yuqian make the decision. This was also the cause of Bai Yi's death. He didn't want to see the two demon emperors clash. I was willing to believe that Long Yutian would handle this matter impartially. I was willing to believe that after my big brother knew about this, he would uphold justice for me and give justice to Bai Yi. The cat emperor cried out loudly, I always believed in my brother. Bai Yi was so, and so was Long Yutian. For my brother, I didn't want this matter to go to the extreme. That's why I surrendered. The cat emperor laughed loudly, shaking the sky. He was indescribably sorrowful. But I didn't expect that my so-called belief was so naive. Just like that, I buried the lives of 2 billion subjects of the Nine Lives Cat clan. This naive and foolish action caused the entire demon realm to no longer have the Nine Lives Cat clan. I've let Bai Yi down. I let Bai Yi's long-cherished wish fail. Now I'm out. The cat emperor howled sorrowfully. But I'm no longer the Nine Lives Cat of the past. Brother Phoenix, for the sake of our past relationship, I'm not willing to fight to the death with you. I only ask you one question now. Are you going to give way to me or not? The Phoenix Emperor said in a low voice, Brother Cat, it's fate that you've managed to escape this time. I'll only be happy for you. How can I not stop you as a son of man? Not only you but any demon belonging to the Nine Lives Cat clan can leave with Brother Cat. In fact, you can even take away all these saint monarchs that you've rescued. I'll bear all the responsibility. He changed the topic and raised his hand saying faintly, However, Brother Cat, you must leave these 3 demon foxes behind. This is my only condition. The Phoenix Emperor assessed the situation and made a decision. He decided to stick to his original intention and target Yin Yang first. First, he couldn't bear to deal with the Cat Emperor, and second, it would cause unnecessary trouble. It was better to buy the Cat Emperor's friendship and let him lead the group away. The 3 demon foxes were identical like triplets. They were too eye-catching and had long been targeted by the Phoenix Emperor. Under the power of the heaven-sealing formation, all their auras were hidden. If they didn't fight head-on, even the Phoenix Emperor couldn't tell who was stronger. Otherwise he would only ask for the weakest one. The Phoenix Emperor knew very well that Yun Yang had to be one of the 3 demon foxes, and the weakest one among them. As long as he killed Yun Yang today, this trip would not be in vain. It might even be the greatest victory. Even if the Nine Lives Cat managed to escape with over 20 Saint Monarchs, compared to the strength of the entire demon race, 20 Saint Monarchs were nothing. Of course, this was mainly because the Phoenix Emperor was dissatisfied with the Demon Emperor's actions regarding the matter between the Nine Lives Cat and the Demon Emperor. Now that he was using this matter to buy a favor from the Nine Lives Cat, the Phoenix Emperor felt that it didn't matter. Ha ha ha. The Cat Emperor naturally didn't understand the Phoenix Emperor's plan. Hearing this, he laughed into the sky, almost tearing up. Brother Phoenix is indeed resourceful. With just a few words you've separated us. You clearly know that us demons were able to escape with our lives because of these 3 brothers. They are our saviors. Yet you made this request. His voice was like thunder. Back then, for the sake of my brother, I killed the crown prince of the demon emperor's bloodline without any regard for the consequences. Today will I abandon my benefactor in order to live? Brother Phoenix, you say that you're letting me go, but is this how you're going to let me go? You think too little of my 9 lives. The Phoenix Emperor said solemnly, Brother Cat, you've really misunderstood this matter. Everyone here is the same. This sky-sealing great formation is not set up for everyone. It's only against one person. Among the 3 fox demons, one of them is the incarnation of a human spy. This fiend has been stirring up trouble in our demon land, causing endless calamities. Tens of millions of demon people have perished because of this. If we let it go, there will be endless troubles. I'm afraid the entire demon race will be overturned because of this. He said word by word, Brother Cat, no matter what, you're also a member of the demon race. Are you going to watch such a tragedy? Is this the glory of the demon race that Bai Yi hopes for? The Cat Emperor's eyes were half closed as he said indifferently, Brother Phoenix, if you said this before I was imprisoned, I would be boiling with blood and help without any hesitation. But now, I've already said that I'm no longer the 9 Lives Cat from back then. So what if you're a demon? So what if you're a human? So what if you're a great enemy? Even if the demon race is really extinct, so what? The Cat Emperor chuckled coldly, is annihilation really that scary? At least in my opinion it's not scary. Isn't my 9 Lives Cat race already extinct? It's not a big deal. Isn't it just a few demons dying? Back then, I proposed to the Demon Emperor that I could surrender and wait for the public trial, but this matter would stop at me and not attack my cat race. His Majesty the Demon Emperor agreed. So what now? Now you're talking to me about the big picture? You're saying that the demon race will be overturned. The Cat Emperor shouted like a thunderbolt, his eyes glistening with tears. My 2 billion subjects, who will talk to them about the big picture and destruction. You. Brother Cat, you've already been blinded by your emotions. You're unreasonable. I know that because of your encounters and experiences, your personality will definitely become extreme, but I never thought that it would be to this extent. The Phoenix Emperor took a deep breath. However, I must kill these 3 fox demons. The Cat Emperor narrowed his eyes. Good. You must kill them, but I must protect these 3 demons who saved my life. What are you going to do about it? Good. The Phoenix Emperor nodded slowly and said word by word, I've made myself clear and I've said everything. But you're still stubborn. Let's see if you can protect them. He waved his hand and shouted, come down. Before the Phoenix Emperor finished speaking, the 99 great monarchs in the sky, who were waiting in formation, suddenly descended from the sky in an orderly manner. At this moment the air had completely frozen. 99 great saint monarchs, in addition to the most mysterious and unfathomable Phoenix Empress of the entire demon race, were blocking the way. There were also many other experts stationed in the demon imperial city. The other sovereigns were all hurrying over. All the great monarchs who had just rushed out of the demon soul prison had ashen faces. Even Tunton and the other 2 girls' eyes were filled with despair. Although they were already prepared for a cruel attack this time, who would have thought that when they escaped and saw the light of day again, there would be such a terrifying trap waiting outside. Chapter 1332. Amidst the silence, only the Cat Emperor's hearty laughter could be heard. I didn't think that I'd have to face such a huge battle just after coming out. Not bad at all. He laughed into the sky. I, the 9 Lives Cat, have been through hundreds of battles in my life. Before I lost my freedom and my life, the brothers by my side have never died. Let's see if there will be an exception today. This sentence was like a thunderclap that shocked the world, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. The 20-odd saint monarchs in his camp felt their ears ringing, and they could not help but feel their blood rush to their heads. Yes, the 9 Lives Cat Emperor had always been a legend of the demon race. In the long history of the demon race, there was only one emperor who had fought to the end with brute force. No matter which battle it was, he had never run away from it. Before his brothers were safe, he would not stop fighting. From the beginning, when his combat power was still weak until he became the emperor of the 9 Lives Cat clan, he had used his entire life to carry out this saying. The 9 Lives Cat Emperor had many flaws in his personality. He was lazy and greedy. He would never stand if he could sit, and he would never sit if he could lie down. His desire for good food was more than anything else. He could give up heaven and earth treasures and excellent resources for a mouthful of food. However, it was this oddball, who was also recognized by the demon race as the most reliable brother in the last million years. Listening to the Saint Monarch's whispered discussions, Yun Yang felt his blood boil. He raised his arms and shouted, "We're willing to fight to the death with the Cat Emperor." His voice reverberated in the air. The 20-odd Saint Monarchs shouted in unison, "We're willing to fight to the death with the Cat Emperor." Fight to the death. At this moment, the Cat Emperor's battle intent surged, as if he was invincible and had no regard for life or death. All the 9 Lives Cat clansmen who followed behind felt their blood boil. Our Emperor is mighty. It's an honor to be able to fight alongside our Emperor today. We have no more regrets in this life. The Phoenix Emperor's gaze was extremely complicated. It could no longer be described with words, but he suddenly ordered, "Fight." The 99 Saint Monarchs who were waiting for their orders moved, and they all landed with a loud bang. Their might shook the heavens and the earth, shocking the world. The 9 Lives Cat Emperor took a large step forward and laughed maniacally. 99 Saint Monarchs have come out together. What a great lineup, but you've already lost 30% of your cultivation and you want to fight me. I can guarantee one thing. Even if I, the 9 Lives Cat, am destined to be buried here today, many of you will be taken away by me. Do you believe me? Come and fight. Before he finished speaking, the Cat Emperor had already leaped into the air, leaving behind a row of shadows in the air. Under the watchful eyes of everyone, the silhouettes in the sky did not dissipate. Instead, they gradually solidified. In the blink of an eye, there were a total of 8 Cat Emperors in the sky, standing side by side with the original Cat Emperor. Every one of them was laughing heartily at the sky. Their demeanor was arrogant, showing off their heroic nature. As far as the eye could see, Every 9 Lives Cat Emperor was emitting an extremely strong battle intent. It was the same as the unconcealed majesty of a ruler, full of might and majesty. The Phoenix Emperor's expression changed, and his eyes shone with a strange light. Brother Cat, congratulations. Congratulations on finally cultivating the strongest innate ability of the 9 Lives Cat race. The Cat Emperor said indifferently, this is all thanks to Long Yutian. If not for him, I wouldn't have the opportunity to cultivate in seclusion for so many years. I have to thank Brother Phoenix even more for letting this trick of mine appear in the world earlier. The Phoenix Emperor took a deep breath and said solemnly, Brother Cat, we've been brothers for tens of thousands of years. If I had a choice, I would never want to fight you. But now, you've already cultivated the 9 Lives Heaven evasion. If I don't make a move, they definitely won't be able to stop you. The Cat Emperor was indifferent. I know that Brother Phoenix has come today for a reason. Everyone's standpoint is clear, so there's no need to say more. Come, let me see how the Nirvana purple clouds that I haven't seen for so long is. The Phoenix Emperor sucked in a deep breath and took a step forward. He was suddenly engulfed in raging flames, like a god of fire. Is this the Phoenix Emperor? The Phoenix Emperor? But why does he look the same as Mr. Nian? Yun Yang pondered. However, this problem was insignificant now. At least it was not the main point at hand. The most pressing issue now was how to leave this place. Facing such a heavy encirclement and being sealed off by the unknown formation, the danger was even greater than the battle at Tianshan Mountain. What could he do to have a chance of escaping? Should he count on the Cat Emperor to defeat the Phoenix? Yun Yang thought of this at once, but it was not his habit to bet on a demon he had just met. Yun Yang was racking his brains. No matter how he thought about it, he still felt that his chances were slim. If his plan did not go smoothly, his hand had already slipped into his deific consciousness space and gently grasped the purple jade flute that he had not used for a long time. If there was really nothing he could do, he could only use this protective artifact. He could only wait and see if there would be a variable that he hoped for in this trap that he had taken the risk to set up. At this moment, a voice hollered, "Stop!" Was that the voice of the Fox Emperor? A strange phenomenon occurred in the seal of heaven and earth as a certain space shattered like a mirror. The Fox Emperor took a step forward, his face filled with worry as he said in a low voice, "Brother Phoenix, this Emperor pleads for Brother Cat." The Phoenix Emperor said faintly, "Brother Fox, what you should be more worried about now are the 3 demon foxes. Or, can you tell me what is going on?" The Phoenix Emperor's tongue was as sharp as a knife, pointing straight at Yin Yang. His gaze was as sharp as a sword as he stared at the Fox Emperor. Although it was just a glimpse, other than confirming that one of the 3 demon foxes was Yun Yang's disguise, the Phoenix Emperor was also certain that the other 2 demon foxes belonged to the Fox clan and that they were supreme experts who had reached the level of Saint Lord. Although he could not discern their auras, the Phoenix Emperor was certain that his guess was correct. Now that the Fox Emperor, who should not have been nearby, had appeared so brazenly, it meant that there was something wrong with him. Yet he still wanted to plead for the Cat Emperor. This was truly. The Fox Emperor's eyes widened as he said coldly, "Brother Phoenix, what do you mean?" The Phoenix Emperor retorted angrily, "Don't you know what I mean?" The Fox Emperor turned hostile immediately. "Brother Phoenix, you have to think about what you're saying. It's true that there are 3 demon foxes here, but these 3 demon foxes only took form after you activated the Heaven Sealing Formation. Do you think I don't know that the Heaven Sealing Formation should be maintained as it is transformed? You're not the only one who knows about this, I know it even better. As for why they're in the form of demon foxes, I don't care. It's not important. Brother Phoenix, you can't say that they're all demon foxes just because the 3 of them are demon foxes, can you? Can I assume that they're all people of the Phoenix clan and that they've transformed to facilitate the current situation?" As soon as the Fox Emperor said this, his expression became even more furious. "You're distorting the truth with such certainty. Are you trying to frame me? Brother Phoenix, aren't you being too despicable by sowing discord and sowing discord?" The Phoenix Emperor, who had been retorted by the Fox Emperor's sophistry, flew into a rage. "How am I sowing discord? How is it unpredictable? How despicable?" The Fox Emperor laughed. "Brother Phoenix is smarter than demons. Everyone in the demon race knows that you're scheming. With my shallow knowledge, how can I see that you're scheming? But that day, Brother Phoenix sincerely promised that my son could be saved, which gave me great hope. That's why I let the few fellows from the enforcement team go. Then I followed Brother Phoenix all the way to Demon Imperial City. In the end, it was all for naught. After being treated by Brother Phoenix, my son didn't even have the last bit of hope. As a father, I still have to be grateful to His Majesty the Demon Emperor. The Fox Emperor's expression was filled with grief and indignation. At this point, I'm in Demon Imperial City and can't do anything. I don't even dare to think about it. This is Brother Phoenix and His Majesty the Demon Emperor's territory. I'm just an outsider emperor, what can I do? I don't dare to be angry, I don't dare to speak. Everything is in my heart. Brother Phoenix, good plan, good methods. As expected of the number one demon of the demon race. I, Nine-Tailed White, am ashamed of my inferiority. I will never dare to compete with my brother in wisdom again. The Phoenix Emperor was so angry that he couldn't speak. He shouted angrily, What nonsense are you talking about? Do you know what you're talking about? The Fox Emperor sighed sorrowfully. Actually, at this point your brother, have already lost all hope. I don't want to swallow this anger, but I can only swallow it. My Empress has left resolutely. My Fox clan has no successor, and all that remains is sorrow. These are the last few days of our time in Demon Imperial City, or perhaps the last few days of our life in this place. Tomorrow morning I will be leaving, and I will be leaving for good. Originally, before leaving this sad place, I, Nine-Tailed White, was overjoyed to see Brother Cat see the light of day again. I thought that the heavens had taken pity on me and allowed me to have some comfort from my brother's return. Therefore, when this old brother just got out of trouble and fell into a tight encirclement, I rashly spoke up and asked for a favor. Brother Feng, for the sake of our tens of thousands of years of friendship, please be magnanimous and let Brother Cat go. That's all, but unexpectedly. The Fox Emperor stared at the Phoenix Emperor with eyes full of despair. Brother Phoenix, I remember that you were the one who said with certainty that the demon fox that was wreaking havoc in the demon race was a human in human form. Although I, Nine-Tailed White, can't absolve myself from the blame for this matter, but, to frame me like this at a time like this, and still insist on saying that I was the one who ordered the 3 demon foxes inside, isn't that just sowing discord? Isn't that despicable? The Fox Emperor glared at the Phoenix Emperor with extreme grief and indignation. Brother Phoenix, you've put in so much effort and come up with so many schemes. Are you bent on killing me? The Fox Emperor's words were reasonable and sincere. That kind of despair, that kind of desolation, that kind of shame, that kind of helplessness. It was simply enough to make anyone who heard it weep and see it grieve. Many great sages didn't know about the Fox Crown Prince's background. After hearing the Fox Sovereign's words, they looked at the Phoenix Sovereign with baffled gazes. Could it be that this was actually true? Judging from the Fox Emperor's words. The Fox Emperor's son was severely injured, and if the Fox Emperor wanted the Fox Emperor to spare his enemy, he would have to promise to save the Fox Emperor's son as a condition. After that, they let him go, and you brought him all the way to the Demon Imperial City. In the end, when you arrived, you couldn't save him. That's probably the process. Am I right in understanding it this way? Yet, the Phoenix Emperor still didn't give up. She felt that she had let him down and wanted to make up for it, so she came up with an even more vicious move. When the 9 Lives cat escaped, you didn't care about old ties and set up a formation to target him. So be it. But the Fox Emperor cared about their brotherly ties and came forward to plead for mercy. You directly put the blame on him, saying that the spy was sent by the Fox Emperor. What was going on? Was it really possible? We can't listen to it anymore and we can't watch it anymore. What if the Fox Emperor didn't come out? Then who are you trying to pin the blame on? Especially, the culprit who caused all this trouble was a human. This conclusion was personally made by you, the Phoenix Empress. We all heard it clearly and you said it more than once. Then, the Fox Emperor came forward to plead for mercy, and you directly said that it was the Fox Emperor's fault? Isn't this a little too unreasonable? This is really stirring up trouble and going through a lot of trouble. Anyone with the slightest bit of naivety might not be able to understand it. I think it's even going easy on you. This also seems to involve the fight for the wisest demon race. The Fox Emperor lost, so it implicated the death of his son? The Fox Emperor really can't get over it. The Phoenix Emperor is the publicly acknowledged wisest demon race. You played mind games with him. Serves you right for your family to be torn apart, for your family to be destroyed, and for you to be exterminated. You asked for it. The Phoenix Emperor couldn't be provoked in the past and even more so now. If you provoked him, you could just wait for your family to be torn apart and your family to be destroyed. The Fox Emperor's example was not far away. The Fox clan would probably follow in the footsteps of the Cat clan and be eliminated from the demon race. Speaking of the past, was it only the Demon Emperor who wanted to target the Cat clan? Could it be that the Phoenix Emperor was involved as well? Wow, wasn't that the mastermind behind the destruction of 2 clans? The Phoenix Emperor was so infuriated that he almost exploded when he sensed the skeptical gazes around him. The Fox Emperor's inversion of right and wrong had caused him to suffer greatly. His worldview was destroyed, his principles were shattered, and even his reputation was completely ruined. It was even worse than being condemned by the masses and stared at by all the demons. Nine-tailed White. Do you know what you're doing? You know what I'm doing, but what are you doing? The Phoenix Emperor's face was ashen. The Fox Emperor said coldly, I know what you're doing. I only want to ask you one question now. Are you going to let Brother Cat and the other demons go today? He said word by word, 2 old brothers of tens of thousands of years are asking you for some face. Are you going to give them face? The Phoenix Emperor panted heavily. He had never lost his composure like this in countless years. Is this what we're talking about? Is this what we're talking about? All the demons present were dumbfounded. What was wrong with the Phoenix Emperor today? The Fox Emperor saw through his intentions and put him in a difficult position. All of us can see that the Fox Emperor is just pleading for his brother. Isn't that a small matter? Although it's hard to say and it's not nice to hear, it's true that they're brothers. It's much stronger than a certain demon and a certain demon. If we were the Phoenix Emperor, we would have. We might not have agreed to it, but we would have said it directly. We wouldn't have gone around in circles or even accused him of some crime. We still have to save face. Brother Cat can leave. I had no intention of keeping Brother Cat here from the beginning. The Phoenix Emperor gritted his teeth. But the 3 fox demons must stay. The Fox Emperor was furious. You're making things difficult for a demon. You're pushing it too far. Do you dare to go any further? You know that Brother Cat won't abandon its savior. What you're saying is no different from giving orders to capture Brother Cat. You're forcing the fox demons. Aren't you trying to find fault with me and provoke Brother Cat here? With Brother Cat's personality, do you think it will give in? I have to go to a meeting tomorrow. Sigh, I've rejected all the activities in other places, but I don't dare to reject the ones in my own province. Chapter 1333. The Fox Emperor's words complemented the Cat Emperor's earlier words perfectly. All the demons present nodded furtively. So that's how it is. It looks like our speculations are quite reasonable. Perhaps we're witnessing the beginning of a huge change in the demon clan today. The Phoenix Emperor is really too much. Hearing the Fox Emperor distort the truth, the Phoenix Emperor's years of self-restraint was so infuriated that he rolled his eyes. However, the Fox Emperor's words were agreed with by all the demons present, be it friend or foe. Lord Phoenix Emperor, you came with a purpose. You want to target the Cat Emperor. Although it's against your brotherhood, it's also a sign of your loyalty to the Demon Emperor. You can just say it. We can understand. They weren't fools. But was it really a good idea to go around in circles and do all sorts of things? Finally, some demons could not hold it in any longer. The clear sky was suddenly covered by darkness. A golden-winged rock appeared in the air and slowly descended. It was none other than the Rock Emperor. Your Majesty, on account of our many years of friendship, please let Brother Cat go. He's already sacrificed thousands of years. Even if he's guilty, it's time to make up for it. The Rock Emperor sighed. If your Majesty is unwilling to let this matter rest and blames me, I'm willing to share the blame with Brother Phoenix. The Phoenix Emperor was dumbfounded. F***ck, why are you causing trouble? Today's matter seemed to have been planned by the Nine Lives Cat clan to save the Cat Emperor, but in fact, it was Yun Yang who had added fuel to the fire and made it happen. There was also the Fox Emperor's scheme. The 3 parties' encounter had finally led to such a delicate situation. I've already said more than once that I have no intention of killing the Cat Emperor. I only want Yun Yang. Why are you causing trouble, Rock Emperor? What has this got to do with you? How are you sharing the blame? However, the Rock Emperor was not the only one who had come to cause trouble. It was not just the Fox Emperor and the Rock Emperor who were watching from the sidelines. The Rock Emperor's appearance naturally stirred up a large number of people. First, a large tiger tore through space and came over. It immediately turned into a muscular human and said, Brother Phoenix, please let Brother Cat go. It was the Tiger King. Almost at the same time, the Leopard Emperor also tore through space and came over. Brother Feng, we've been brothers for tens of thousands of years. There's no need to be so ruthless, right? A moment later, a huge ox appeared. It was the Ox Sovereign. Brother Feng, why must you do this? Then a golden bright monkey holding a stick appeared. The Monkey King also came. Brother Feng, let the cat go. The Eagle Emperor flapped his wings and flew over. Brother Phoenix, I'll plead for Brother Cat. Back then Brother Cat saved my life. If I don't repay this kindness, I will be a demon in vain. Several martial emperors arrived one after another. Yun Yang finally heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed like the Cat Emperor was quite popular back then. This is truly worthy of my plan. Yun Yang was completely relieved. Surrounded by the emperors, the Fox Emperor looked at the Phoenix Emperor with sparkling eyes and said faintly, "Brother Phoenix, stop when it's time to stop. Don't use too much scheming, especially the kind that will chill everyone's hearts. It's better to use it less." Even at this moment, the Fox Emperor was still trying to make things difficult for the Phoenix Emperor, brazenly going head-on in front of so many emperors. There was only one meaning in his words: you want to deal with the Cat Emperor. The group of sovereigns all had angry expressions on their faces. If the demon sovereign race did this, it would be understandable, but if the Phoenix Emperor did this, wouldn't it chill the hearts of his brothers? The shadows of various demonic beasts appeared continuously in the air. The fox race, the tiger race, the ox race, the eagle race, the rock race, the monkey race, the leopard race. One by one the Saint Monarchs arrived silently and stood behind the monarchs of the various races, silently supporting their own kings. The Phoenix Emperor shouted angrily, "This is the third time I reiterate the main point of this battle. I have no intention of dealing with the Cat Emperor. The current situation is that there's a human hiding in the Cat Emperor's group. Yun Yang, the one who caused chaos in the demon race. Do you know? This person is a great threat to the demon race. He must be eliminated. No matter what anyone says, it's useless." The Fox Emperor smiled mockingly and said, "Brother Phoenix, I thought you were a good brother, everyone's good brother. I still remember that you once protected the Cat clan in secret. You also confronted the demon sovereign about Brother Cat's case. You even personally asked us to protect Brother Cat, so that the Nine Lives Cat clan's bloodline would not end. It's because of this that we brothers have always respected you. We all think of you as a good brother. A person who truly does things for our brothers. We respect you and have never doubted you. But now it seems that Brother Phoenix's foresight is truly awe-inspiring and daunting." The Fox Emperor's dark gaze gradually turned cold. "I know the human you speak of. I'm the only demon among the emperors of the demon race who's seen his true form, but Yun Yang is really just a second-level Supreme Saint ant. It's this ant that has become your excuse. Because of such a Supreme Saint human, you're forcing a Supreme Saint sovereign to his death at all costs. Why can't I see that a Supreme Saint child is so powerful? Is this the reason you're giving us?" The Fox Emperor's face was full of mockery. "Even if your reason is dignified and it's for the sake of the demon clan's future, and there's nothing wrong with it, I, the nine-tailed white fox, still want to say this clearly here. Even if that human is very dangerous for the sake of my brother, I choose to let him go so that he won't be put in a spot. Once Brother Cat escapes unscathed, everything else can be discussed. Whether it's you capturing that human yourself or letting us attack together, or even forcing him to leave the demon race to prevent more lives from being lost. These are all things that can be planned slowly. Why do you have to do this? Are you trying to force a demon into a corner?" Emperor Rock and the others felt that the Fox Emperor's words made too much sense. "Phoenix Emperor, you're making a clear stand now. You're using a mere Supreme Saint human as an excuse to make things difficult for your good brother of tens of thousands of years. This reason is too clumsy. It can't be refuted at all. As for saying that the human can threaten the future of the demon race?" All the emperors laughed. "When Brother Cat is not involved, we won't refute what you said. Who asked you to be the wisest person in the demon race? It's understandable that you want to prevent trouble before it happens. It's understandable. But now, they could only chuckle. How could they understand? The demon emperors looked at the Phoenix Emperor and sneered. "I originally thought that you were very loyal, but from the looks of it, haha, you've finally exposed your true nature. Or perhaps, the Phoenix Emperor has always been the demon emperor's good brother. Wouldn't that explain everything?" The Fox Emperor said indifferently, "Brother Phoenix, I'll ask you one last question now. Do you dare to answer me?" The Phoenix Emperor suppressed the urge to vomit blood. "Back then, after the Nine Lives Cat race suffered a huge change, the 8 of us secretly discussed to keep some seeds for the cats. We worked together and secretly arranged for all the cultivators above the 3rd grade Supreme Saint venerate in the Nine Lives Cat race. However, after a period of time, most of these cat powerhouses met with unforeseen events. They were either directly killed or captured. I've always found this matter strange. Although our actions were done without the Demon Emperor's knowledge, 8 Demon Emperors joined forces. In terms of strength and influence, they're all at the peak of the demon race. Yet we were still unable to protect the cat people. There must be a reason for this, right? The Fox Emperor said indifferently, enunciating each word clearly. Previously, we only thought that it was done by the Heavenly Hound. But from the looks of it now, I only have one question for you. Did you do this? The moment the Fox Emperor asked this question, the Cat Emperor immediately turned his head and looked at the Phoenix Emperor with a gaze as sharp as a blade. Then he asked in a low voice, "Brother Phoenix, was it really you?" Beside the Fox Emperor, 7 or 8 demon emperors looked at the Phoenix Emperor with eyes as sharp as knives. This matter was already strange back then. Now, could it be really? The Phoenix Emperor vomited a mouthful of golden blood. He closed his eyes weakly and laughed bitterly. "Fox Emperor, you win. Cat, go." He waved his hand. "Make way. Let them go." Under the watchful eyes of everyone, the killing formation set up by 99 great sage powerhouses was no longer as murderous after the Phoenix Emperor's order. The originally impenetrable seal of heaven and earth showed faint cracks. However, at this moment, a golden dragon slithered over. It came at lightning speed and sent a message from afar. "His Majesty has decreed that the traitor Nine Lives Cat must not be allowed to leave the demon soul prison. If he resists, kill him." Hearing this, the eyes of the demon emperors, led by the Tiger King, burned with killing intent. "You Long Yuqian have already imprisoned the 9 Lives Demon Emperor for so many years. Now you still want to kill him? This is too much. This is your good brother from back in the day. If you can be so cruel to him, then my relationship with you is not even as good as 9 Lives Cat's." The Phoenix Emperor opened his eyes abruptly. 2 flames shot out from his eyes and shot straight up into the sky. With a whoosh, the flames had already ignited the first stage Great Sage Golden Dragon in the sky. With a soft poof, the Golden Dragon instantly turned into a huge torch. In just a short while, the Golden Dragon was completely incinerated. Both its body and soul were destroyed. Nothing was left. That was the Phoenix Empress Nirvana true flames that she had nowhere to vent her anger. Although the Golden Dragon was also a low-level holy sage, how could it resist it? It died without knowing why or how it died. As the Golden Dragon was incinerated, the formation on the other side opened up a wide path. 9 Lives Cat laughed loudly. His 8 clones suddenly returned to his original body. He walked over with his head held high. "Follow me." The Phoenix Emperor took a deep breath and tried hard to control himself. However, his voice was still trembling. "Brother Cat, after today, what will be our relationship in the future?" The Cat Emperor paused for a moment and said indifferently, "In front of all of you, I, Old Cat, will not lie. I, Cat Yunxiao, will remember all of you for protecting me today. However, from today onwards, I will be Long Yuqian's mortal enemy. The lives of 2 billion of my kind are a huge debt of blood. I have to get it back. If I don't, I will be letting down the people of the cat race, letting down Bai Yi, and even more so, letting down myself." None of the demon emperors made a sound. Only the Cat Emperor's voice echoed clearly in the air. It was powerful and resonant. "I don't know what our relationship will be in the future. However, if you insist on standing on Long Yuqian's side, then you will be my 9 Lives Cat's mortal enemy. Brothers, take care of yourselves. After today's departure, we may be mortal enemies when we meet again in the future. Brothers, please don't be merciful because I won't be merciful really. From today onwards, I will only be a vengeful cat. Nothing else." After saying this, he strode away and didn't look back. The martial emperors looked at his back as he left, and their gazes were indescribably complicated. There were only 5,000 to 6,000 demon emperors who left. This was probably the only force that the 9 Lives Cat race had left in this world. It really wasn't much. However, as the Cat Emperor strode forward, all the monarchs could clearly feel that with every step he took, the aura of this army became more solid. After 100 steps, they had already become a torrent of steel. They had completely condensed into one, and no other force could separate them. All of them were united. The Fox Emperor sighed and said, "I'm going to send the cat off. There's no need to wait for me. I will leave the city later. Brothers, let's meet again if fate allows it." There was only indescribable sorrow and disappointment in his voice. The Rock Emperor said in a gruff voice, "In that case, let's all go together. Let's find a place outside the city and have a good drink with the cat. As for the future, screw them." The Tiger Emperor and the Panther Emperor laughed loudly and said, "After today we will also leave. Brothers, take care." They soared up and chased after the Cat Emperor. As the Tiger Emperor and the Panther Emperor moved, All the demon emperors who had come forward to plead for the 9 lives cat followed. When these monarchs left, the experts under them also followed. Among them, there were even great monarchs who had set up the heaven-sealing array for the Phoenix Emperor. These great monarchs came from various races. Among them the eagle, roc, tiger, leopard, fox, ox and monkey races made up a small half of them. All the monarchs left, but none of them bid farewell to the Phoenix Emperor. They just left like that. With the Phoenix Emperor's plan, which was known for having good affinity with demon emperors, this was definitely not something that should happen. However, it just had to happen right in front of the Phoenix Emperor. The Phoenix Emperor felt dizzy, and his throat tasted sweet. He was seeing stars. I'm so wronged. However, after thinking for a long time, the Phoenix Emperor stomped his foot and shouted, "All of you go back." He spat out blood and said, "I'll send the cat off." The Phoenix Emperor was wise, but he was also loyal. Now that things had come to this could very well be the last drink between the brothers. Even if the Phoenix Emperor's fury was already soaring to the heavens, even if he knew that the Fox Emperor was stirring things up inside and definitely had a great scheme, even if he knew that he wouldn't be welcomed if he went over, he couldn't bear not to go and join in the fun. He had to go and have a drink. However, he sighed helplessly in his heart. The demon race was really finished. From this moment on, the demon race was already showing signs of falling apart. These demon emperors who had stood out to plead for the cat emperor in public were already at odds with the demon emperor. The reason was extremely simple. Even if the demon emperor was magnanimous and didn't care, they would still be worried that the demon emperor would settle the score later. Today's impulsiveness would definitely pay the price. If they didn't pay the price themselves, then the demon emperor would pay the price. And was the demon emperor a magnanimous person? Obviously not. Under that rough and bold appearance, there was a not-so-magnanimous heart. Therefore, this was not only the last time the Fox Emperor came to Demon Imperial City, but the Rock Emperor, Eagle Emperor, and the others would also be the last time they came to court. When he thought of this, the Phoenix Emperor wanted to spit out 3 mouthfuls of blood. How did things come to this stage? Chapter 1334. Yes, it was the Fox Emperor. He hated the Demon Emperor and himself deeply because of the Crown Prince's death, and the Feline Emperor was obviously the best ally for him to take revenge on the Demon Emperor. The Feline Emperor prided himself on being the wisest of the demon race, but he had forgotten that a wise man was not invincible or flawless. He had been tricked by the Fox Emperor, who was also a wise man, and lost for no reason. In addition, the Fox Emperor had no qualms, but the Feline Emperor had his own. He had fallen into a disadvantageous position in this battle because of his qualms. But, can I have no qualms? The Feline Emperor chuckled bitterly. He then had another epiphany as he thought of the crux of the matter. It was fine to let the Feline Emperor go, but he could never let the human leave with the Feline Emperor. Once they went their separate ways, it would be Yun Yang's time of death. He was fixed in the form of a demon fox anyway and could no longer transform. As long as Yun Yang died, even if the demon race's internal strife could not be avoided, the Feline Emperor could deal with it slowly. There would always be a way out. Thousands of miles away from Demon Imperial City. With a wave of the Feline Emperor's hand, an exquisite pavilion rose from the ground. It was more than 300 feet tall, and the words Minister shone brightly on the pavilion's board. Pavilion of Broken Ties. On both sides of the pavilion, there were 10 miles of corridors. Although there were no carved beams or painted pillars, it was rustic. A long table was arranged neatly in 2 rows, from east to west. The Feline Emperor stood in front of the door, waiting quietly with his arms behind his back. He knew very well that his brothers from back then would definitely come and get drunk together. As for himself, he had to stay here and get drunk with his brothers from back then. So what if this place was close to Demon Imperial City? There was nothing more important than getting drunk with his brothers right now. Even if the Demon Emperor mobilized millions of troops to besiege us later, I will finish this drink with my brothers from back then. Yun Yang stood outside the gazebo and stared at the imposing Feline Emperor. He looked at the other party's body that was like a bottomless abyss. Although this king had been imprisoned for countless years, his domineering aura that seemed to be able to support heaven and earth alone had not weakened at all. All the felines who had come with him, as well as the 20 or so great lords who had just come out of the prison, felt that they had found their backbone when they saw this figure standing in front of them. With this figure here, I have nothing to fear in this world. My heart is at ease. He is indeed the legendary Demon Emperor. His grace is indeed extraordinary, an unparalleled hero. Yun Yang praised in his heart. A moment later, the space shattered like a mirror, and the Fox Emperor walked out from the void. He had an amiable smile on his face as he said, "Cat, I don't care about other monsters. Let's just drink. I'm not going to enter this lousy pavilion anyway. Where's the wine? Is it good wine?" The Cat Emperor's eyes also flashed with a warm smile as he said in a deep voice, "Fox, how much of your plan is this time?" The Fox Emperor laughed and said, "That's quite a lot. At least 10%? 10%? Only 10%? Cat Emperor was taken aback. Then, the Fox Emperor said, "The other 90% is all planned by your 3 cat concubines and sect leader Yun Yang, whom the Phoenix Emperor has named." The look in the Cat Emperor's eyes changed as he said, "Yun Yang? Sect leader? Human?" The Cat Emperor's question had a deeper meaning behind it. The ups and downs in his heart were difficult for outsiders to understand. However, the Fox Emperor nodded calmly. Looking at the Cat Emperor's expression, he did not say anything else. It was obvious that he wanted to see the Cat Emperor's attitude towards humans, or rather his attitude towards Yin Yang. Whether he's a human or a demon, he's my benefactor since he saved me from my predicament. The Cat Emperor was forthright. A true man should be able to distinguish between gratitude and grudges. Even if I can't avoid a battle of life and death with humans in the future, I will always remember this favor. There will be a time when I repay it. How you treat him is between the two of you. You don't have to report it to me. I'm not here to exchange pleasantries or gossip with you. The Fox Emperor smiled in relief. That's right. We brothers won't go home until we're drunk. The Cat Emperor nodded with a smile. As they spoke, the Tiger Emperor, Panther Emperor, Eagle Emperor, Monkey Emperor, and the others tore through the void and arrived. There were also many experts from various races who had come with them. When the Demon Emperors saw the Cat Emperor and the 3 words Broken Brotherhood Pavilion, they were all stunned. The Rock Emperor chuckled and was the first to speak. "Cat, we brothers haven't done anything wrong to you. You actually want to cut ties with us? That's not right of you. No, you can't do that. You can't do that." The other Demon Emperors laughed and teased him as well. The smile on the Cat Emperor's face grew warmer as he said, "I'm out now. I'm afraid I'll have to be entangled with Long Yutian for the rest of my life. If you don't cut ties with me, you'll inevitably be restrained when we fight in the future." The Eagle Emperor snorted coldly. "Who wants to fight you? What's between you and Long Yutian is between the two of you. Our friendship will always be friendship. We'll never have anything to do with such a heartless thing like breaking our friendship, okay?" The Tiger Emperor's laughter was like thunder. "This isn't dealing with humans. You and Long Yutian are fighting to the death. We'll just take it as watching a good show. There's one thing we need to say in advance. If something really happens and you die, we brothers will naturally collect your corpse and make arrangements for your funeral. But if you're more powerful and kill that old brat Long Yutian, then we'll also take care of his funeral. You don't have any objections, right?" The Panther Emperor said, "That's right. We won't help either side. At most, we'll collect the corpse of the one who dies." The Ox Emperor smiled honestly. "If you're tired of fighting to the death and don't want to fight anymore, we can also help you find a place to enjoy your old age. That way it'll be more convenient to drink and play with the board." Just thinking about it is a wonderful thing. Hearing the Ox Emperor's words, the other Demon Emperors burst into laughter. The Monkey Emperor's eyes flickered with golden light. "I can't guarantee anything else, but if you come looking for me, I'll bring you the wine that I brewed myself." The Cat Emperor laughed. "Don't tempt me. What you said makes me not want to do anything anymore. I'll retire to the Monkey Clan." The other Demon Emperors laughed. The Cat Emperor laughed softly and said, "Brothers, you're all very kind. I won't say anything to express my gratitude here. After this great change, my emotions are really very complicated. There are many things that need to be sorted out and adjusted." He forced a laugh. "But no matter what, we still have to drink to our heart's content today. We'll only get drunk today and not care about life and death tomorrow." The other Demon Emperors laughed. "That's right. No matter what, we have to drink to our heart's content today." The huge Broken Ties Pavilion was right in front of them, but none of the Demon Emperors went inside. They all chose to stand outside. The strong wine was already opened, and its fragrance filled the air. "It's been a long time since we drank together like this." The Tiger Emperor's sturdy body trembled slightly. He actually sighed and took the lead to drink to his heart's content. "Brothers, let's do it." Gulp, gulp. All the martial emperors raised their cups in unison. At this moment, the void was torn open again, and a figure timidly stepped out. The newcomer had a complicated expression on his face, and his eyes were even more complicated. His voice lacked much confidence. "Brother Cat, I've come to send you off." The newcomer was the Dog Emperor. The Dog Emperor could be said to be the most useless demon emperor, but he was still the Cat Emperor's best brother before the 9 Lives Cats incident. However, it was this best brother who, after the 9 Lives Cat was suppressed by the Demon Emperor and thrown into the Demon Soul prison, hit the 9 Lives Cat when it was down, used the most ruthless methods to hunt down the 9 Lives Cat clan, and made the most vicious plans to flatter the Demon Emperor. All of these were done by this Dog Emperor. Because of this, the Dog Emperor's actions were very rewarding. Not only was he not abandoned by the Demon Emperor because he was the Cat Emperor's best friend, but he also became the Demon Emperor's confidant. One could almost say that the Dog Emperor had stepped on the corpses of the 9 Lives Cat clan to climb to his position. Now, he actually appeared here and said that he was here to see the Cat Emperor off. "You're not here to show off, are you?" All the Demon Emperors stopped drinking and stared at the Dog Emperor, their eyes full of playfulness. The Cat Emperor drained the glass of wine in his hand in one gulp. He didn't even look at the Dog Emperor as he said indifferently, "In this life, I will only drink with my brothers. With you there's no need. Drinking with a dog is really unpleasant." The Dog Emperor's expression changed instantly, and it was tragic. "In your eyes now I'm just a dog?" The Cat Emperor said coldly and mockingly, "Your words are really interesting. Aren't you a dog?" The Dog Emperor is also a dog. 9 Lives Cat. I know you resent me for what I did back then, but do you know that what happened back then involved not only your cat clan, but the entire demon clan knows that I am your best brother? If I don't make a choice and stand firm, the Heavenly Dog clan will follow in your cat clan's footsteps. I don't want the Heavenly Dog clan to be in imminent danger and collapse at any time, do you know that? The Dog Emperor said agitatedly, "That day your cat clan was already destined to be destroyed, your fate was already decided. Is it what a good brother should do to bury my Heavenly Dog clan with you? I also need to think for my people. I used your inevitable fate to win the prosperity of my Heavenly Dog clan for a long time. What's wrong with that? As a demon clan, my Heavenly Dog clan will always be loyal to the Demon Emperor. What's wrong with that?" The Dog Emperor's face was full of grief and indignation. "Cat, can't you put yourself in my shoes and think for me? Is this the brotherhood you keep talking about?" The Cat Emperor laughed mockingly and spat out one word coldly, "Scram." His voice was as cold as ice in midwinter. "If you don't scram now, you won't be able to leave any more." The Cat Emperor's words were obviously not a joke. Definitely not. The Fox Emperor, Eagle Emperor, Rock Emperor, Tiger Emperor, Leopard Emperor, Ox Emperor. Countless experts present all rose into the air and stood in a row, staring coldly at the Dog Emperor. Their eyes were full of disdain and disdain. In fact, the Ox Emperor and the Fox Emperor were already itching to teach him a lesson. "What reason do you have to betray your brother?" The Eagle Emperor flapped his wings in midair and said coldly, "A dog actually dares to spout nonsense here. What kind of reasoning are you trying to reason with me? Hurry up and scram back to serve your master. Waiting to chew on a few bones is the right thing to do. If a dog gets a share of the wine between us brothers, how can we even drink it?" The Dog Emperor's face turned purple. He took a deep breath and a moment later, he let out a loud roar. His aura was earth-shattering. Just as the Dog Emperor was about to leave, the space shattered again. The Phoenix Emperor's slender figure appeared in the air and shouted, "Dog Emperor, scram!" The Dog Emperor snorted and without saying a word, he hurriedly left. However, none of the emperors present paid any more attention to the Dog Emperor. All the emperors were looking at the Phoenix Emperor warily. All the demons had the same conclusion. The Phoenix Emperor was far more dangerous than the Dog Emperor. In fact, he was even more dangerous than the Demon Emperor Long Yutian himself. Now that they knew that the culprit behind the deaths of the cat tribe's youths and cultivators was the Phoenix Emperor, everyone couldn't help but wonder if the Phoenix Emperor was the most dangerous and evil demon. The Phoenix Emperor, who was well aware of the Demon Emperor's suspicions, laughed bitterly and said, "Do you think that I can still do anything to Cat at this moment? Cat has made his decision this time, and his stance is clear. However, we are still brothers. No matter how angry I am, do you think that I won't drink this last cup of wine?" After saying that, he saw that all the emperors were still on guard. The Phoenix Emperor couldn't help but feel angry. He said angrily, "Back then, when Cat was in trouble, I was the one who arranged for all of you to protect the demon tribe under my command. Why is it that all of you are fine now and I'm the only one who isn't a demon? Why are you all looking at me like that?" The demon emperors felt even more sorrowful. That's right. It's precisely because you were the one who took care of those demon tribe members that they all died without exception, right? After the incident outside the Demon Soul prison and the Fox Emperor's bewitching words, this was the final solid hammer. All the demon emperors felt that their understanding of the Phoenix Emperor was very different. What was so strange about looking at the Phoenix Emperor with a strange gaze? Instead, the Cat Emperor took a deep breath and took the initiative to raise a cup of wine. Since Brother Phoenix has come personally, it's enough to show your sincerity. What you said just now was well said. From now on, our stances are clear. This is the last cup of wine to break all ties. Let's not talk about anything else. Old Cat, please drink first. The Phoenix Emperor's smile became even more bitter. He said bitterly, Brother Cat, take care. I hope that from now on, everything goes according to your wishes. After saying that, he finished the cup of wine in one gulp. That smile was even uglier than crying. Just as he was about to say something, space was torn open again, and a large hand carrying a shimmering golden bowl of wine emerged from the void. The one who came was only a hand. A deep and resounding voice shook through the void and it said sonorously, Cat, I will also drink a cup of wine to break all ties. Our previous friendship is written off. From now on we will be enemies of life and death. The one who came was the Demon Emperor's voice. The Cat Emperor laughed loudly. He raised a jar of wine and poured it into the sky. After drinking, he smashed the wine jar to the ground. The golden wine cup in the air also shattered in the void. The Cat Emperor looked up to the sky and howled. It was as if he wanted to dispel the thousands of years of depression. I originally had no intention of accompanying you. But this cup of wine to break all ties, even if I don't drink it with anyone, I must drink it with you. As you said, our previous friendship is written off. From now on we will only be enemies of life and death. The void slowly closed up and the hand disappeared. The Cat Emperor stared in the direction where the Demon Emperor's hand disappeared. He didn't move for a long time. A moment later he finally let out a bitter laugh. I killed your son for Bai, for my brother, but you killed my son for personal vengeance for yourself. The feelings between us have long since disappeared. Now, after this cup of wine, even the personal grudges between us will no longer exist. How can the grudge between 2 billion subjects be erased with the word brother? Long Yuqian, from now on we will only talk about our country and nothing else. At the side, the Phoenix Emperor watched this scene with a complicated gaze. He could clearly feel that an internal strife had already taken shape. Furthermore, the curtains had already been drawn. There had never been a moment when he hated the Demon Emperor Long Yuqian so much. Chapter 1335. All the higher-ups of the demon clan knew that although Long Yuqian wasn't a magnanimous person, he wasn't a narrow-minded fellow either. When the Cat Emperor invited him to drink, you came to send him off on account of your brotherhood and did not obstruct the actions of the other demon emperors. You did a good job. But since you were here, why couldn't you say something a little more submissive? Now look at what you've done. You've displayed your kingly demeanor, but don't you know that your kingly demeanor has already disappeared? How many years had passed? Why couldn't the grudge from back then be resolved? The Cat Emperor could not possibly lower his head. He had a blood debt of 2 billion. But as the ruler of the entire demon race for the future of the demon race, why couldn't you say something a little more submissive? The grudge from back then was because you handled things unfairly and went overboard. Now, if you insisted on being tough, it would only make the demon race even more disgusted. If you softened your attitude, even if the Cat Emperor still insisted on going his own way, at least the Demon Emperors present would have a change of opinion. The Demon Emperor had already regretted it and was even willing to accept the Cat Emperor again, but the Cat Emperor had rejected him. Once this kind of attitude was born, then when the Cat Emperor caused trouble in the future, there was a high chance that it would affect the decisive role of these Demon Emperors at the crucial moment. But now, the Demon Emperor had pretended to be magnanimous and drank this bowl of wine that was filled with the aura of a Chunibyu. First, he had said those words that were filled with determination. But now it was impossible for the Cat Emperor to turn back. Didn't you see what the Demon Emperor had said? The friendship of the past was written off. From now on there would only be hatred of life and death. As a supreme Demon Emperor, saying that there was hatred of life and death between you and the Cat Emperor was equivalent to forcing the Cat Emperor to the underworld. If the Cat Emperor still didn't resist, then he would be crazy. Looking at the Rock Emperor, Eagle Emperor, Tiger Emperor, Leopard Emperor and Ox Emperor who were standing on both sides, stunned by this scene. Putting aside the others, the Rock Emperor, Tiger Emperor, Leopard Emperor and Ox Emperor were all fellows with muscles in their brains. They were all stubborn. Indeed, it was as the Phoenix Emperor had expected. The Ox Emperor was very dissatisfied and muttered, "What does the Demon Emperor mean? Why didn't he even show his face? Does he think he's that great?" At the side, the Fox Emperor said lightly, "The Demon Emperor is the supreme being of the demon race, and he's already very extraordinary, suppressing us by more than just a bit. Is this very difficult to understand? Can't you see His Majesty the Demon King's intention? It is so obvious. Don't think that you, the Nine Lives Cat, will be able to overturn the heavens just because you escaped. I didn't kill you that year, and that was already a brother of yours. Now, I will drink this cup of breaking brotherhood wine, and it is equivalent to cutting off your last chance of survival. In the future, whoever dares to talk nonsense and use the word brother to talk about things won't be useful anymore. Ox Emperor, you really need to be enlightened. Otherwise, if someone were to sell you off, you would still help them bargain for a better price. At least you would be able to sell yourself a little more." The Ox Emperor said angrily, "Don't give me all that nonsense. I'm just saying, who in this world would do something like that? The cat did kill the Dragon Prince. The demons below do not know the whole story, but do you think we do not know it? Why didn't the Dragon Prince die? Back then, Bai Yi was able to devise strategies and win the battle from 1,000 miles away. His meritorious service was outstanding, and he could at least be ranked in the top 10. Just based on the effort he put in, he is definitely not below you or the Phoenix Emperor. In fact, he is even indebted to the Demon King himself." The Fox Emperor said coldly, "What you're saying now is the truth. That's the real truth. Back then, Cat and His Majesty the Demon Emperor weren't even sworn brothers of life and death. Cat risked his life for His Majesty the Demon Emperor. Just in terms of saving His Majesty the Demon Emperor, I've lost count of how many times. In this aspect only I can compare to you. But now that time has passed and the Dragon Emperor has become a ruler, he has to consider more things. If he always relies on his old friendship, how can the little contribution in the Book of Meritorious Service be reliable?" He looked up to the sky and sighed, "When the birds are gone, the good bough is hidden. When the cunning rabbit is dead, the hound is cooked. This is the unchanging truth. Say, us old brothers got drunk with the cat today, but we did not say it clearly. Will the Demon King think that we are arrogant because we are favored? If he really thinks so, what should we do?" The Tiger Emperor said angrily, "So what if he is a ruler? Didn't we fight for this world together? With just Long Yuqian and his demon race, can he be respected by all the races in this huge demon world?" The Fox Emperor let out a bitter laugh and said, "I'll say it again. The world changes with the passage of time. Different people have different hearts. I'm not worried about other things. After I leave today, I'm sure I won't return to this sad place in this lifetime. I can guarantee my safety. However, the three of you, Tiger, Leopard, and Old Cow, you must be more careful when you do things in the future. This is my last warning to you. If you get into big trouble in the future, you might not be able to clean it up." The Tiger Emperor said angrily, "Does Long Yuqian dare to deal with me?" The Fox Emperor laughed and said, "I think the cat must have thought the same way back then. It is said that the cat is the teacher of the tiger, the teacher of the past, and the teacher of the future." The Tiger Emperor was a little discouraged and he kept mumbling. The Phoenix Emperor frowned and said, "Fox, stop talking. I know you are unhappy because of your son's matter, but you keep making sarcastic remarks and stirring up trouble. Are you trying to instigate all of them to defect?" The Fox Emperor snorted coldly and said, "Instigate? How do I do that? Which side should I go to? I don't care about the Dog Emperor, I have never treated him as a brother. But back then when the Cat clan changed, I lost my first brother. After that, all the young men of the Cat clan were killed. I calculated in my heart that I would lose another brother. Just now the Demon Emperor made such a scene. So what if I lose another brother? But the remaining brothers are all treasured by me. I am only saying this to remind them to be careful, that's all. If something were to happen in the future, you, the Phoenix Empress, would be impartial, and all of you brothers would be far apart from each other. You might not be able to save them in time, let alone come up with a plan. Tiger, Leopard, and Old Ox are dumb. Just a few words of bluffing and they would be dumbfounded. It's almost foreseeable that they would suffer losses." The Phoenix Emperor said angrily, "How can they be at a disadvantage? Can't you just shut up?" The Fox Emperor snorted and really didn't speak anymore. Although the Fox Emperor didn't speak anymore, the words that he had said were very effective. Not only the Tiger Emperor, Leopard Emperor, Ox Emperor, and even the Eagle Emperor, Rock Emperor, Snake Emperor, and the others all had a thoughtful look on their faces. The Phoenix Emperor immediately had a headache, But he knew that the more he said, the more mistakes he would make. He had made a mistake and he had already lost everything. No matter what he said, it would be difficult to turn the situation around. After a cup of wine, the Phoenix Emperor tried his best to sit for a while, but when he saw all the emperors looking at him as if he was a thief, he really felt like dying. "I'll take my leave now. I'll take my leave first." The Phoenix Emperor's eyes took a long look at the three-headed demon fox in the crowd of experts before he nodded and left. "I won't see you out, I won't see you out." Seeing that the Phoenix Emperor was about to leave, the emperors present heaved a huge sigh of relief and said hurriedly. Everyone knew that the Phoenix Emperor was known as the second expert of the demon race in name, but the brothers had another guess. The Phoenix Emperor's true ability might not be inferior to that of a demon emperor. Even if the Phoenix Emperor's ability was enough to crush a demon emperor, no one would find it strange at all. The Phoenix Emperor had always been resourceful, always planning before taking action. Therefore, everyone had always called each other brothers and were very close, but in reality, everyone was a little like the Phoenix Emperor. With the Phoenix Emperor's departure, the atmosphere among the demon emperors became relaxed. Only Yun Yang's heart was ringing with alarm. He did not know the Phoenix Emperor's current state of mind, nor did he know what the Phoenix Emperor was planning, nor did he know how powerful the Phoenix Emperor was. He had only come into contact with the demonic soul prison, or perhaps he had not experienced it, or perhaps Yun Yang was completely lost. However, ever since he saw that the Phoenix Emperor looked exactly like Elder Nien, Yun Yang felt a great pressure weighing down on him. The pressure was unparalleled. Moreover, the Phoenix Emperor had locked onto Yun Yang as soon as he appeared. The three demon foxes must stay. To make Yun Yang stay, he was even willing to let the Cat Emperor and the group of Saint Lords go. Such boldness was enough to make Yun Yang take notice. In addition, the last glance he gave him before he left. The sense of danger in Yun Yang's heart grew stronger and stronger like never before. "I have to leave as soon as possible, or I'll be faced with an unprecedented crisis." "Cat, where do you plan to settle down after leaving this place?" asked the Tiger Emperor. This question had been lingering in the hearts of the demon emperors present for a long time, but no one dared to ask the question when the Phoenix Emperor was still around. Now that the Phoenix Emperor had left, it was the Tiger Emperor who was closest to the Cat Emperor who asked the question. The Cat Emperor chuckled humorlessly. This question was the one that had been bothering him. The realm of demonic beasts was vast, but it was rare for him to have a foothold. Now that he had fallen out with the Demon Emperor, he would have to face the Demon Emperor's relentless pursuit no matter where he went. This was an undeniable reality. "I can only..." Before the Cat Emperor could finish, the Fox Emperor had already cut him off. "If Brother Cat doesn't mind, you can stay at my place first. Other things aside, my place is the furthest from the Demon Imperial City. As the saying goes, the sky is high and the Emperor is far away. It's perfect for Brother Cat to rest." As he spoke, he shot the Cat Emperor a discreet look. The Cat Emperor understood and said, "Since the fox is so loyal, I'll go play with the fox first." The other demon emperors laughed together. "If you're done playing with the fox, remember to come and play with us." As the sun set in the west, all the emperors were reluctant to part with each other. Although they spoke of it in a relaxed manner, everyone knew that the Cat Emperor would be standing on the opposite side of them this time. When they met again, no one could say for sure how they would face each other. "Brothers, the Nine Lives Cat Clan will never forget your kindness in taking care of the Cat Clan all these years. The mountains are high and the rivers are long, we'll meet again someday." "What are you being so polite for? Get lost." "Ha ha." Amidst the laughter, the demon emperors waved goodbye. Following this, the Fox Emperor took the lead and said, "Quick, quick." The Cat Emperor walked beside him. "Is there a need to be in such a hurry, Oomph?" The Fox Emperor flew forward swiftly. "You've underestimated the Demon Emperor in the past and underestimated his temperament. If we don't hurry up and leave with just the little bit of strength we have right now, how are we going to be able to walk 10,000 kilometers out of the Demon Imperial City's territory? Not to mention that the Phoenix Emperor won't give up either. Facing both the Dragon and Phoenix races at the same time, do you think our return journey will be easy?" The Fox Emperor's expression was unprecedentedly serious. "It can't be, right?" The Cat Emperor was a little doubtful. "No matter how shameless that Long Yutian is, he's going to kill us right after drinking the wine of severing ties? Especially now that you're involved. If he really makes a move, isn't he afraid of causing a war between the two races?" Causing a war between the two races? The Fox Emperor looked at the Cat Emperor with disdain. "I think you really don't understand the main point. Actually, what the Phoenix Emperor said was the truth. You're not his target at all. And what I'm worried about now isn't the Demon Emperor, but the Phoenix Emperor. This guy wants to kill my brother. Do you think I'm fighting him head-on for your sake? The Cat Emperor's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Your brother? Not me? I'm talking about the human who saved you from the Demon Soul prison. The Fox Emperor did not stop walking as he spoke. Let's hurry up and go at least 10,000 miles away before we talk about the details. There's no need to thank me or be polite. Save it. Now that you're out of the Demon Soul prison, the Demon Emperor is moved because of the wine of severing ties, and the Phoenix Emperor is also feeling emotional. But who knows how long these emotions will last. We have to go as far as we can while they're still feeling this way. We can't wait for them to regain their composure and target us with all their might. That would be akin to sitting ducks. As he spoke, they had already reached a desolate mountain forest. The Fox Emperor suddenly stopped and shouted, "All great sages, activate your powers at the same time and forcefully break open the space. Bring all our brothers and push 3,000 miles into the territory. We'll talk about the rest later." He had a stern expression. Listen to me. Now, immediately. The great sages didn't know why, but they instinctively obeyed. The instant the space was torn open, the Fox Emperor led a large group of people and dived in. Next, the Fox Emperor and the Cat Emperor worked together at the same time, leading a large group of people and advancing another 4,000 kilometers to another forest area. The Fox Emperor estimated the distance between them and the enemy and heaved a sigh of relief. Now there shouldn't be a big problem. The Cat Emperor didn't understand the Fox Emperor's cautiousness. Isn't this making a big fuss out of nothing? In any case, I find it hard to believe. Would the Phoenix Emperor really do this? Even if the Phoenix Emperor's choice back then was out of line and caused the deaths of many young men of the cat race, he is ultimately different from Heavenly Hound or Long Yutian. Just from the bottom of my heart, I still recognize him as a brother. Even if our standpoints are completely different, falling out immediately after drinking is such a disloyal act. At least, the Phoenix Emperor that I know wouldn't do it, right? Facing the Cat Emperor's incessant chatter, the Fox Emperor felt helpless. He couldn't help but say heavily, "If it wasn't for Bai Yi's case, the Demon Emperor would probably still be your life and death brother. You're talking to me about the past." This attack was fatal. The Cat Emperor's expression immediately dimmed, and he didn't speak anymore. What they didn't know was, when they tore open the space for the first time and rushed over, a large group of Phoenix race powerhouses had already caught up to them. They were only a few millimeters away from each other. Furthermore, when they tore open the space for the second time, the Phoenix Emperor had already led a large group of Dragon Race and Phoenix Race powerhouses and also rushed over by tearing open the space. If they hadn't left first, the two parties would have already met and clashed. Yesterday was Alliance Master Rong Er's birthday. Happy birthday to her. Sorry for being late by a day. I haven't been on QQ for many days. Chapter 1336. The Fox Emperor and the Cat Emperor advanced with great speed. They were about to walk out of the 10,000 miles range that the Fox Emperor had predicted and arrive safely. Meanwhile, the aura of the great sage that the Fox Emperor had arranged beforehand had already appeared not too far ahead, and could be sensed from afar. It was only at this moment that the Fox Emperor finally heaved a sigh of relief and said, "If we continue forward for another 3,000 miles, we will be 70% safe." The Cat Emperor couldn't help but be shocked when he heard that. The demon world's three wise ones. The white-clothed nine-tailed fox with the phoenix head, the Phoenix Emperor. She had deep foresight and meticulous plans. She was publicly recognized as the wisest of the demon race. The white-clothed cat of the cat race always prioritized the big picture and didn't bother with trifles. She was known to be invincible in battle. The last nine-tailed fox was the Fox Emperor. She was cautious and would only act after making a decision. She rarely put herself in danger and prioritized safety first. Now that they had escaped such a large distance, how could the Cat Emperor not be shocked? However, the Cat Emperor couldn't understand why there were so many changes in the outside world after he had stayed in prison for so many years. He and the Fox Emperor were two top-notch experts on their side. They also had dozens of great sages and hundreds of holy venerables. They had already left the demon imperial city for almost 10,000 miles. How could there still be danger? Wasn't this a little too unbelievable and unimaginable? Just as the Cat Emperor was filled with doubts and confusion, a blazing power suddenly came from the sky. Screech! A long cry shook the void. The sky, which was originally dark, suddenly lit up. It was a raging inferno that burned the void. The Fox Emperor and the Cat Emperor revealed serious expressions at the same time. They stopped in their tracks and looked at the void. In the void there were at least 40 to 50 experts of the Phoenix clan. Their giant bodies were surrounded by crazy flames. They were flying in the sky at a high speed and they were dashing towards them at a high speed. The Cat Emperor glanced at it and was dumbfounded. The Fox Emperor sighed. "How is it? Do you believe me now?" The Cat Emperor's face was instantly filled with bitterness. He suddenly said with grief and indignation, "Is this the brother that I have known for tens of thousands of years?" The Fox Emperor sighed and finally could not help but console him. Perhaps what the Phoenix Emperor said earlier was sincere. He did not come for you and only intended to capture the human spy. He really values my brother from the human race very much. The Fox Emperor was telling the truth. And the truth was more or less so. The main reason for the Phoenix Emperor's trip was still Yun Yang. The Phoenix Emperor was still willing to ignore the feline empress for now, not severing the last bit of connection. But how could the Cat Emperor believe that? Who am I? I am the 9 Lives Cat. I am a peak expert of the demon clan. He was one of the few super great demons in the entire demon race. Right now, I'm brazenly announcing to the world that I'm rebelling. How big of a deal is this? Right now, I'm definitely a thorn in the side of the Demon Emperor and the Phoenix Emperor. I'm the #1 target that they must eliminate. Now you're telling me there's someone more important than me? Are you sure you're not joking? Fooling a silly boy? What level of cultivation did that human have? I've been in close contact with him, and he's only a 2nd grade Saint Venerate. That's really all he has. But I'm a 4th grade Saint Monarch. Tell me, a human brat who's only a Saint Venerate is actually more important than me, the Cat Emperor who leads dozens of Saint Monarchs? Even if you're planning to deceive a ghost, you should at least think of some words and come up with something that the demons will believe, alright? The more the Fox Emperor comforted him, the more sorrowful and agitated the Cat Emperor felt. Brother Fox, I know you mean well, but you really don't have to comfort me anymore. The Cat Emperor said to the Fox Emperor in grief and indignation, I know I'm stupid. If I wasn't, why would I have surrendered and sat in prison for so long? But I've also experienced so many cruel changes. Even if I'm still stupid, I can still discern this little bit of human nature. The Fox Emperor opened his mouth, but for a moment he could not say anything. You know you're stupid, but you insist that you're not stupid anymore. What kind of logic is that? We're on the same side now and we have the same enemy, but the enemy's main focus really isn't you. Don't be fooled by the fact that you're a pinnacle Saint Monarch. Don't be fooled by the fact that you have a bunch of Saint Monarchs under you. Don't be fooled by the fact that you're the Cat Emperor, the pinnacle of the demon race. But now, in the Phoenix Emperor's heart, you're indeed inferior to Yun Yang. You're not even worth a fart, not even worth mentioning. I'm telling you the truth because I don't want there to be any estrangement between us, and I want you to have a clearer understanding of Yun Yang. But what kind of brain do you have? Why are you so stubborn? Can't you think it through? At this moment, the leading Saint Monarch of the Phoenix clan descended. He first transformed into his human form and cupped his hands in greeting politely. Greetings, Your Majesty the Fox Emperor and Your Majesty the Cat Emperor. The Cat Emperor looked displeased. What are you doing? This was the Phoenix clan's traditional way of doing things. Diplomacy before violence was the Phoenix Emperor's wisdom. Even if they were enemies, he still refused to lose his manners and become a laughing stock. The Saint Monarch of the Phoenix clan said, By the Emperor's order, we're here to kill Yun Yang. The Cat Emperor guffawed in surprise. So I've changed my name to Yun Yang. Phoenix Emperor, what a grand style, what a grand gesture, what a long hand. The Saint Monarch of the Phoenix clan was speechless. The Cat Emperor took large strides forward to welcome him, his voice cold. Seeing that you're so polite, this Emperor will spare your life today. Help this Emperor tell your Phoenix Majesty that we're no longer brothers but enemies. If you want to deal with me, do it openly. It really doesn't matter. If you continue to use those shameful excuses, it will only make everyone feel even more uncomfortable and unbearable. His eyes were filled with mockery as he chuckled. Look at how you're behaving now, your words and your etiquette. You're all saying that he seems to value brotherhood. I really want to laugh, but I really can't. The Saint Monarch of the Phoenix clan was perplexed. What was he saying? What was the Cat Emperor saying? Why couldn't he understand it at all? However, before he could speak again, the Cat Emperor had already leaped forward, breaking through the space with a single leap and charging into where the Phoenix clan's experts were gathered. It had only been a split second, but the Cat Emperor had already charged back and forth among the Foam clan's experts. The Cat Emperor, who had charged into the battle, looked mighty, but he was actually extremely frustrated. He had been captured and imprisoned previously because he had failed to recognize people. Although he was aggrieved, he had only himself to blame and had nothing to do with the demon. It was only when he came out that he realized that he was not the only unlucky one. It was because of his mistake back then that the entire cat clan was buried. The Cat Emperor's grief and indignation had long accumulated to an indescribable level. Bai Yi had thought too much about the bigger picture, thinking that there was still justice under the imperial authority. That was why he had allowed himself to be captured. His original intention was to take revenge for Bai Yi, but in reality he had made the same mistake as Bai Yi. Now that he had finally escaped and seen the light of day again, he was met with another bucket of cold water. He had always thought that the Phoenix Emperor was his good brother, but the one who had appeared to stop him the moment he had escaped was the Phoenix Emperor. From beginning to end, the Phoenix Empress came and left and came again. First she stopped me, then she sent me off. Then she arranged for experts to kill me. She really thinks that I, the 9 Lives Cat, am an idiot, right? Just because you came to send me off, I think that you're fine. Are you still my brother? You can't play with me like this. We've already come to a point where we're clearly enemies and we're on the same side, and you're still saying that you're not here to capture me. I just want to ask, do you guys need to send out dozens of Saint Monarchs to capture a Saint Venerable? If you guys directly said that you're here to capture me, I could at least feel that I'm being taken seriously and received a special greeting. But now, what the hell is going on? Have I, the 9 Lives Cat, disappeared in the dust of history after being silent for thousands of years? My reputation is no more, I'm already insignificant. Can I just find a reason or an excuse to settle this? Very well, then I shall prove with my ability that the Cat Emperor's might is still there. As the Cat Emperor made his move, the Saint Monarchs under him charged over like a swarm of bees. The 3 sisters, Tunton in particular, attacked even more ferociously than the Cat Emperor, drawing blood the moment they struck. The Fox Emperor, who was not in a hurry to join the fray, frowned as he watched the chaotic battle from the sidelines. He suddenly had a strange and subtle feeling. Other than himself, there were only the Fox clan's Great Elder and Second Elder, as well as Yun Yang. The 3 fox demons were like triplets. This was not a good sign. Yun Yang coughed softly and shot a look at the Great Elder and Second Elder. These 2 fox demons were intelligent. Although they did not understand Yun Yang's intention, they still accompanied him towards the Fox Emperor. It was not a long distance, it only took him a few steps to reach it. Yun Yang spoke telepathically, "Big brother, this isn't normal." The Phoenix clan's experts' words and actions are obviously meant to attract the Cat Emperor and the other demons' attention. I think the Phoenix Emperor wouldn't have thought that his appearance at this time would enrage the Cat Emperor, yet he still sent him out and said such words. There must be a deeper meaning behind this. The Fox Emperor was unfazed as he replied, "That's right. The Phoenix Emperor's target is obviously still on you." Yun Yang stood with the demeanor of an expert as he spoke to the Phoenix Empress telepathically. He really thinks highly of me, but now that the 3 of us have been fixed into the same appearance, the Phoenix Empress can hardly be sure which one is my real self. The Fox Emperor was deep in thought. However, he can be sure that it will only be a moment, but it is another matter for him to actually take me down. After all, there are 2 Saint Monarchs among the 3 of us. If he doesn't target me and fails to take me down in one go, it means that he will lose his chance forever. Therefore, he must be observing in the dark now, hoping to hit me in one strike and flee if he succeeds. As for the Cat Emperor and the others, they've already started fighting. Whether they win or lose, they won't be able to return anytime soon. There are only the 4 of us left now. Although our combat power is still formidable, it's already given him a high enough chance to strike. Yun Yang said, "If so, why don't we play along with him? It's definitely not a good thing to have a pinnacle expert like the Phoenix Emperor constantly eyeing us. Why don't we take the risk and settle this once and for all?" The Fox Emperor raised his eyebrows and spoke telepathically, "This isn't a good idea. It's too risky. You don't know the true terror of the Phoenix Emperor's ability. If you're not careful, not only will you lose your life, but with how much the Phoenix Emperor values you, you might very well perish in both form and spirit. However, this potential threat must be eliminated first. Otherwise, our return journey will be filled with anxiety and fear, constantly facing the enemy," Yun Yang continued. "Your idea isn't bad, but to eliminate the Phoenix Emperor, that's impossible." The Fox Emperor chuckled bitterly. "Not to mention that it's only me and the 2 elders of the Fox clan here. Even if all the sovereigns join forces and unleash all their killing moves, they won't be able to keep the Phoenix Emperor." Yun Yang said, Even if we can't kill him, can we lay a trap to injure him and temporarily reduce the Phoenix Emperor's mobility? The Fox Emperor fell into deep thought, evaluating the feasibility of Yun Yang's suggestion and the chances of success. The atmosphere of the battle that had just begun was growing more intense. Although there were no deaths yet, there were already many who were injured. Broken limbs and those who were spitting blood at the sight of red could be seen everywhere. The Cat Emperor's subordinates were attacking with all their might, while the Phoenix Clan's experts seemed to be wary. The leader was even shouting, "Your Majesty, it's a misunderstanding." The Cat Emperor was getting more and more infuriated. Even at this point he was still putting on an act in front of him. Because of this he was fighting even harder, not letting his guard down. With his own strength, he was actually suppressing dozens of Saint Lords on the opposite side. It was then that the Fox Emperor frowned and looked at the dense forest not far away. Something's not right. There seems to be some movement over there, but it doesn't look like an ambush. Shall I go over and take a look then? Yun Yang asked. The Fox Emperor nodded faintly. Very well. Once the discussion was settled, Yun Yang swiftly left the group and headed towards the dense forest alone. Strictly speaking, Yun Yang's speed was not considered fast. As he walked, his movements were unusually relaxed, exuding a sense of nonchalance. In spite of this, the dense forest that the Fox Emperor had mentioned was indeed not far from the Fox Emperor's camp. After a dozen breaths, Yun Yang had already arrived at the edge of the forest. As he floated up, he was already standing on the treetop of a large tree. Scanning his surroundings, he turned back and shook his head at the Fox Emperor. The Fox Emperor's attention was not on him, instead, he was looking at the other side suspiciously. In spite of this, he did not separate from the remaining Great Elder and Second Elder, observing carefully with rapt attention. The Second Elder was 50 feet in front of the Fox Emperor while the Great Elder was 30 feet to the side of the Fox Emperor. At first glance, this was a triangular formation that was both offensive and defensive. It allowed for both offense and defense. It was a marvelous sight. Noticing that there was no movement around, the Fox Emperor coughed softly. Yun Yang floated down from the tree in response and returned to his camp with light footsteps. It was at this moment, however, that something unexpected happened. Space exploded apart with a bang as the Phoenix Emperor suddenly appeared like the manifestation of a devil god. At the instant she appeared, she'd already confined space and shattered space, and the might of her palm seemed like it was collapsing the heavens and the earth, and it carried blazing rebirth flames as it struck ferociously towards the Grand Elder's head. The Fox Emperor's judgment was correct. The Phoenix Emperor had indeed been watching from the side, waiting for the chance to kill with a single strike. Just like the Fox Emperor and Yun Yang's judgment, he could not be sure which fox demon was Yun Yang. Although the heaven-sealing formation had solidified one of the two demons and one human, there were still too many identical triplets. It was beyond the Phoenix Emperor's expectations. He had followed them until now, even using dozens of experts from his clan to lure the feline emperor away. This was the best chance that the Phoenix Emperor had created. However, even if it was the best chance, there was only one chance to strike. If the strike missed, the Fox Emperor could completely hold him back and render him unable to do anything else. Therefore, this strike had to find this human and kill him in one strike. However, if there was a miscalculation in this strike and it landed on the other two foxes, even if the other foxes were not as good as him, they were still Saint Lords after all. It would be another matter if he could kill them or not. It would be hard for him to have a second chance. After this strike, the Fox Emperor's vigilance would definitely be at its highest. If the strike missed and alerted the enemy, it would be impossible to take Yun Yang's life alone. With the Fox Emperor and the Feline Emperor working together to protect Yun Yang, in addition to dozens of Saint Lords, unless he mobilized a large number of people to form a heavy encirclement and kill both the Fox Emperor and the Feline Emperor here. At a time like this, the biggest taboo was to advance recklessly. The Phoenix Emperor, who knew this very well, waited for a long time. He purposely created a commotion in the dense forest and some vague waves of deific consciousness in other directions. This caused the Fox Emperor to suspect that something was wrong, and he finally split his manpower to search the surroundings. As expected, a fox demon walked out to check the dense forest. The one who walked out could not be Yun Yang. Yun Yang's true ability was only at the second level of Saint Venerate. Now that his manifestation power was sealed by the heaven-sealing formation, it was difficult for him to use his mystical skill. It would be impossible for him to reincarnate in the hands of the Phoenix Emperor. Yun Yang dared not take the risk himself, and the Fox Emperor would never let him. The dense forest was not far from the Phoenix Emperor's group, but it was still thousands of feet away. The gap between the scouting was more than enough for the Fox Emperor to kill a small fry of Saint Venerate level hundreds of times. Therefore Yunyang could only be one of the two beside the Fox Emperor. The triangular formation revealed that Yunyang had to be within this triangular formation. Otherwise, with three Saint Lords working together, what kind of power could break through it? It was laughable that the Fox Emperor had to act as if he was purposely paying special attention to the pointy point of the triangular formation, but he was deliberately mystifying and exposing himself. The Phoenix Emperor made a prompt judgment. The pointy point was definitely not Yunyang, and the Fox Demon only 30 feet away from the Fox Emperor had to be Yunyang. If he were in the Fox Emperor's shoes, he would most likely make the same arrangement. What was real and what was fake, but no matter what, he would still position the target he wanted to protect next to him. However, when the Phoenix Emperor confirmed his target, the Fox Emperor seemed to have sensed something as well. He had already begun summoning the Saint Lord who had gone to investigate the dense forest to return. If he really returned, the difficulty of killing Yunyang would at least double. The Phoenix Emperor hesitated no longer. He attacked immediately with all his might, aiming to kill with a single strike. Even if the Fox Emperor were to take the hit head-on, he would also have to pay a considerable price. Even a Saint Lord would have to pay a great deal of damage. Moreover, when he attacked, he changed the area, sealed the heaven and earth, and activated the flames of Nirvana to kill a mere Saint Venerate. It was impossible for him to fail. When the yellow shadow flashed, the newcomer was already in the air. Seeing this, Great Elder cried out in shock and dodged with all his might, but it was already too late. The Fox Emperor roared angrily and his 9 tails appeared, meeting the attack with a palm strike, but he was still a little too late. The Phoenix Emperor's palm landed on Great Elder's head in an instant. At this moment, Great Elder, who could not dodge in time, bellowed in anger and pushed his palms forward with all his might. White smoke billowed from his body. He was actually using his natal core to activate a power that surpassed his own limits. Bang! The strength of both sides collided, and it was obvious who was superior. The Grand Elder who'd utilized a strength that surpassed his own limits was still defeated. His entire body was slapped into the ground by the Phoenix Emperor, and a wave of crackling sounds could still be heard. It was unknown how many bones in his entire body had been broken. However, his life was definitely not in danger. At this moment, the Fox Emperor's counterattack, which was slightly slower, had already arrived. Second Elder had also activated his own limits to ride his sword into the air, charging towards the Fox Emperor. As the person directly involved, the Phoenix Empress instantly understood that she had found the wrong person. When she saw the Fox Empress again, the Second Elder's counterattack was so powerful that it definitely wasn't something that a cultivator who hadn't reached the level of a great lord could do. She naturally understood the current situation instantly. The one who left was the Real Yunyang. He could not help but sigh, 9-tailed white, how cunning. At the sound of the wind and the cranes. Chapter 1337. The Great Elder had parried with his life on the line, which was also the maximum power of a high-level Saint Emperor. Although the Phoenix Emperor could withstand it, he still suffered a considerable amount of damage, and his movements were slightly sluggish. Therefore, when the enemy counterattacked, it was his turn to be unable to avoid it. The Fox Emperor was slightly slower, but the attack that he had been accumulating for a long time had arrived on time. Furthermore, Second Elder Fox was attacking from the side. Even if the Phoenix Emperor had the ability to see through heaven and earth, it was difficult for him to avoid it completely. After evading Second Elder's sword that was filled with murderous intent, he was still hit by half of the Fox Emperor's palm force. However, it was only this half of the palm force that had caused the Phoenix Emperor to suffer heavy injuries. In order to kill Yunyang, the Phoenix Emperor was even prepared to suffer heavy injuries. As long as Yunyang was dead, it would be worth it for him to suffer heavy injuries. However, he had not expected to fall into a trap. Cultivators who had attained the level of a Saint Emperor could recover swiftly even if they were injured. Even if their physical body was destroyed, they could reincarnate and start anew. However, the Phoenix Emperor and the Fox Emperor were the pinnacle of this world. They would rarely suffer an attack from a cultivator of the same level head-on. Once they suffered injuries of this level, they would need to recuperate for a period of time, and it would even hinder their future cultivation to a certain extent. The Phoenix Emperor had suffered half of the Fox Emperor's palm force, but he used the remaining force of the collision to rise into the air, bouncing 1,000 feet into the air. With a flash, he turned into a giant phoenix, circling in the air for a while before shouting, "Retreat!" All the experts of the Phoenix clan did not hesitate when they heard him. They attacked at the same time, then retracted their bodies and rose into the air, following the Phoenix Emperor. A fiery cloud could be seen in the sky as it flew far away, disappearing in the blink of an eye. It was only then that the Fox Emperor landed on the ground. He actually staggered a couple of steps, his face flushed red. When Second Elder landed, he staggered 7 to 8 steps before he dashed forward and cried out, "Boss!" He dug the ground with all his might without stopping. He dug all the way down to a depth of 70 to 80 feet before he saw the Fox Clan head elder's body, which had almost been beaten into a meat patty. His eyes were rolling and there was already a pool of blood beneath him. Faced with the Phoenix Emperor's full-powered attack, the Great Elder was already on guard and had even activated his origin core long ago, activating a power that surpassed his own limits. However, the Great Elder was still far from being able to match the Phoenix Emperor's full-powered attack. Not only were all the bones in his body broken, even his skull was split into several pieces. This was also because the sage possessed an almost immortal body. Otherwise, with this kind of injury, even if he were to struggle at death's door for a moment, it would still be hard to avoid the fate of bidding farewell to this world. Speaking of which, the First Elder was able to take a full-power attack from the Phoenix Empress head-on. Although he was severely injured, he was now lying on the ground like a pile of mud, his eyes filled with terror. However, he was still a top-notch expert of the demon race. With this battle record, he could boast about it for the rest of his life. After all, not everyone had the ability to take a full-powered attack from a top-notch expert like the Phoenix Empress head-on and not die. Yun Yang had already returned to the Fox Emperor and heaved a soft sigh of relief. The Phoenix Empress ability is terrifying indeed. If I were the one to take this blow, even if I had 8 to 10 lives, I'd still be annihilated. There'd be no chance of survival. The Fox Emperor's expression was suffused with indescribable excitement as he said, "Child, you're indeed the culprit who stirred up the demon race previously. Your intelligence is truly remarkable. You managed to prepare a counterattack under such a deadly situation and King succeeded. At the cost of not losing any lives on your side, you managed to injure the Phoenix Empress instead. How remarkable." Yun Yang chuckled. "Big brother, you're too kind. You think too highly of this young brother. If it weren't for Big Brother revealing the Phoenix Empress' demonic nature, temperament and ability level, as well as our Great Elder's willingness to take such a risk, how could this plan have worked? How is the Great Elder's injury? Is it serious?" The Fox Emperor shook his head. "Don't worry. As long as he doesn't die on the spot, it's fine. Speaking of which, the Great Elder might even have to thank you. You're the one who made him famous. Throughout the entire demon race, other than the emperors of each race, there's hardly anyone who can fight the Phoenix Empress and survive a full-powered attack from him." Yun Yang said seriously, "There's a limit to a person's strength in this plan. If not, I wouldn't have been willing to let the Great Elder take such a risk. If the Great Elder were to die, I wouldn't be able to rest easy for the rest of my life." The Fox Emperor's expression grew more amiable. "After this battle, the Phoenix Empress ability will inevitably be slightly reduced. The safety factor of our return trip will increase by at least 10%. Although he definitely won't let go just like that, with the cat and I working together, we can make him return empty-handed." Speak of the devil. The Cat Emperor arrived with a look of disbelief. "C. You really didn't come for me? I am not as important as a human supreme saint? Who would King believe this? Who would believe it?" The Fox Emperor grinned and sighed. "The truth is right in front of us. What's there to say? Who's serious if we hurry on our journey at full speed now? Let's get 20,000 miles away first before anything else." After this battle, the Phoenix Empress's respect for Yun Yang will probably go up another level. As expected by the Fox Emperor, the Phoenix Empress remained hidden throughout the rest of the journey, attacking ceaselessly despite her injuries. In spite of this, Yun Yang could see clearly that the Phoenix Empress really did not want to fall out with the Fox Emperor and the Cat Emperor, so she did not attack the both of them directly. In spite of this, there were many lords of the Fox Clan and the Cat Clan, protecting Yun Yang well. In addition to the Cat Emperor and the Fox Emperor's full protection, the Phoenix Empress could not do anything to Yun Yang. After the first attack, the Phoenix Empress struck 3 times consecutively within the span of 2 hours. It was a thrilling experience. These 3 times were different from the first. They were all direct confrontations and deceptive tricks. Against a wise person like the Phoenix Empress, it was already too many to be effective once. If she repeated the same trick again, she would only be seeking her own death. Because of this, the Fox Emperor and the Cat Emperor worked together, one of them always by Yin Yang's side. The Phoenix Empress had no openings to exploit. Each time, it was one of the Phoenix Empress attacks that ended after one of the sovereigns had exchanged a blow with the Phoenix Empress. During the last time, seeing that the Phoenix Empress was even more aggressive, the two sovereigns attacked together and clashed fiercely with the Phoenix Empress. The clash this time caused the three sovereigns to suffer some injuries. The Phoenix Empress was already injured, but she had temporarily suppressed her injuries with her strong ability. Now that she was suddenly attacked by the two sovereigns, her injuries were worsened. She could not help but sigh at the sky. You two are foolish. Foolish. Perhaps we have a grudge between us, or perhaps it's hard to reconcile, but no matter what, it's an internal conflict of the demon race. Even if we fight until someone's brain comes out, it won't damage the demon race's foundation. But Yun Yang, this human, is the one who triggered the demon race's unprecedented bloodbath. You two will definitely regret this. For the last time, the Phoenix Empress sighed and rose into the sky, disappearing without a trace. This time the Phoenix Empress had truly left. It was not only because she had not worsened her injuries and her condition was gradually deteriorating, it was also because the Fox clan's reinforcements arranged by the Fox Emperor had already met up here. Further ahead would be the reinforcements of the Fox Empress and the Fox clan's strongest combat force. At this point, the strength brought by the Phoenix Empress was no longer enough to fight against the Fox Emperor and the Cat Emperor. If they tried their best, they would face the risk of being completely wiped out. The Phoenix Empress understood the situation, but she was still extremely unwilling. Now that things had come to this, she could only choose to retreat. If she were to really go against the Fox clan's strength, she would be provoking the demon race's internal strife in advance. This was a situation that the Phoenix Empress would never be willing to see. Before the Phoenix Empress left, she asked the Fox Emperor, puzzled, "Why?" The Fox Emperor sneered and replied with two words, "What do you think?" The Phoenix Emperor left in a cloud of dust. All the Phoenix clan's experts never appeared again. Along the way, the Cat Emperor finally began to understand the process of him being rescued. He was naturally very polite to Leader Yun, who had played a decisive role in it. When he heard that this human leader Yun was actually the Fox Emperor's sworn brother, the Cat Emperor suddenly had an idea. "Only the two of you are a little weak. Why don't we do it together?" Together? The Fox Emperor's eyes widened. The three of us will become sworn brothers. The Cat Emperor was excited about this sudden idea of his, unable to stop himself. Yun Yang and the Fox Emperor were speechless. "Brother Yun, in order to save me this time, you've sacrificed countless treasures of heaven and earth as well as uncountable wealth. Just the Sync coins alone are already in the billions, and so many premium spirit jades and ethereal amethysts." The Cat Emperor sighed softly. "What's more, my direct descendant is still being taken care of by Brother Yun. How can I ever repay such a great favor? Just in terms of riches alone, not to mention the fact that the Nine Lives Cat clan is poor now. Even in the past when we were at our most prosperous, we might not have been able to." The Cat Emperor laughed self-deprecatingly. "Don't be fooled by the number of Saint Lords and experts I have under me, but these 20-odd Saint Lords don't even have a spatial ring. How desolate is this? We can't compensate for Brother Yun's sacrifice at all now. After this, Brother Yun must return to the human side. It'll be even more difficult to meet him. How can I be at ease in such a situation? The only thing I can give is the identity of the Cat clan's king." The Cat Emperor laughed self-deprecatingly. "I hope that Brother Yun won't despise this empty title of king." How could Yun Yang despise it? He was more than happy. This trip to the demon race had resulted in him becoming the sworn brother of two demon emperors. It was truly worth it. Moreover, the demon clan had already been plunged into misery and suffering because of him. Now there were two demon emperors, the Cat Emperor and the Fox Emperor, who were almost determined to fight the current demon emperor. The demon clan's future was almost certain to be torn apart. It would be strange if he was not happy for the sake of the human race. After meeting up with the Fox Empress, the Fox Emperor could finally be at ease. The team of demons returned to the Fox clan's base camp at top speed. Two demons and one human swore an oath to become sworn brothers. The Fox Emperor was the oldest, so he became the eldest brother. The Cat Emperor was a few years younger, so he became the second brother. Yun Yang was the youngest, almost negligible compared to the two demon emperors, so he was naturally the third brother. Eldest brother. Second brother. Third brother. The Fox Empress was genuinely happy about this. From what she could see, the Fox Empress felt that Yun Yang, the human, was the most amiable one, followed by the three demonesses, Tunton, Kitty Eat and Kitty Fill. Speaking of which, Yun Yang's two sworn brothers could not compare to these four banshees in terms of intimacy. Of course this was only relative. The two demons and one-man ceremony was completed. Countless experts from both clans came forward to toast and congratulate them. However, these experts could not help but feel that it was absurd and unreal. Countless demons above the level of Saint Venerable and even Saint Lord called out respectfully with a bowl of wine in their hands, "Greetings, Third Master." This third master was a human, so it was only natural that he felt awkward. However, Yun Yang did not feel awkward at all. Gracefully he gestured, "Dispense with the formalities, dispense with the formalities." On the night of the ceremony in the Fox clan's palace, the three freshly minted brothers, no, the three demon brothers, no, the three brothers, plotted in silence. "Eldest brother, second brother, may I ask what plans the two of you have for the future?" "Plans, of course. Cat, what about you?" "I'm definitely going to rebel." "Don't ask me, we're definitely not on the same side." The Cat Emperor drank. The Fox Emperor rolled his eyes. "Not on the same side? I participated in the plan to save you, I've protected Yun Yang all the way back, I've set up the demon race's sovereigns to target Long Yutian. I've even invited you, a traitor, to my base camp. Up until now you still can't tell that I'm going to rebel with you. You say you're not on the same side as me, do you still want to be recruited?" Yun Yang could not help but chuckle. "Fox, I'm rebelling because of the blood debt of my 2 billion subjects." "Why are you doing this?" The Cat Emperor was puzzled. The Phoenix Emperor, the nine-tailed fox, and Bai Yi of the feline clan were the demon race's three wisest men. All three of them had the same wish, which was for the demon race to enjoy eternal peace and stability. Now, however, the nine-tailed fox was saying that he was going to rebel as well. "I want to rebel because, if I don't rebel in the future, the people ruled by my Fox clan will probably be in an even more miserable state than your Cat clan." The Fox Emperor heaved a deep sigh. Once the news of his son's recovery and complete recovery spread, the Fox clan would definitely become the target of public criticism. If he had not been injured previously, he would at most be suspected because of the prophecy. That was all. Even if there were others, the Fox Emperor was confident that he could mediate. At least, it would still take a long time for him to reach the point where he and the Demon Emperor would be at odds. Now, however, the nine-tailed jade had suffered a fatal injury that the Dragon and Phoenix Emperors could not save even with their combined efforts. It was such a fatal injury that would have destroyed both his soul and soul, yet he was completely fine in the end. In the blink of an eye, he was alive and kicking again, his cultivation base even increasing by a considerable margin. This was not something that could be explained with just a few words. Only miracles and destiny could explain it. Regarding this point, any high-level demon who knew about their son's past would inevitably think about it. At that time, how could the Demon Emperor endure it and sit still? There was already a prophecy that this child would become the ruler of the demon race. Now that he was not dead and had turned misfortune into fortune, he even had the support of the massive Fox clan. This was obviously the greatest threat. Since the Demon Emperor could not tolerate it, he had to be eliminated. Although the Phoenix Emperor still had the intention to hold back and was unwilling to fight to the death with the Fox Emperor, once the Phoenix Emperor knew about his son's situation, his attitude would definitely change immediately. It was true that the Phoenix Emperor valued brotherhood and was magnanimous in his conduct as a demon. His magnanimity was not a lie. However, the only orthodox demon race that he acknowledged was the Dragon race. The Dragon clan was the Emperor. The Dragon clan and the Phoenix clan resonated with each other. This was the bottom line that the Phoenix Emperor could accept. In the past, the Nine Lives cat killed the second prince of the Demon Emperor. In a sense, not only did it violate the Demon Emperor's taboo, it also went against the Phoenix Emperor's bottom line. After that, the Phoenix Emperor betrayed and schemed against the young cat race because the cat race and the Demon Emperor's bloodline could no longer be reconciled. For the demon race's long-term plan, it was better that the cat race's core forces did not exist. Therefore, if any other demon race threatened the Dragon clan's ruling position, the Phoenix Emperor would be the first to object. This was something that the Fox Emperor had always seen clearly. That was why he had moved the Fox clan close to the Blood Soul Mountain a long time ago. Now that the situation had changed, and since it was destined that they would not be able to avoid a confrontation, he might as well seize the initiative in his own hands. From the moment I left the Demon Imperial City, I will no longer accept the Demon Emperor's rule. The Fox Emperor drank a cup of wine and placed the wine cup on the table carefully. He said calmly, "I have a plan. You can see if it is feasible. You're tuning in to the Han Lee's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.